with your host, Miss Londa. Sit and Talk Podcast. Sit and Talk Podcast. Sit and Talk Podcast. Silence.
Hello, everyone. I'm back again. I have guests joining me, Renee. We are going to be talking about the Roe versus Wade, overturning the decision on abortions. I would like to hear from the audience, if anybody is out there viewing, you guys' opinions on what we'll be discussing and sharing with you this evening. All right, so give me 1 second here. All right, so the decision was made, overturned by the Supreme Court. Full coverage of the Supreme Court decision to eliminate the constitutional right to an abortion, overruling the 1973 Roe versus Wade decision, leaving the question of abortion's legality to the states. So how do you feel about that?
I think, that's something that shouldn't be regulated, not just by the government and not by the states either. I mean, I don't know how the women in politics or allow this to happen, because I'm not for pro-abortion, but I'm not against it either, because first of all, there are circumstances where a mother, let's say the child might be handicapped, and I don't think it's anything wrong with having a child who has the potential to be handicapped, but it should be the mother's decision. And what if she was raped or she was molested by her father or something tragic like that? That should be her right to decide, not the state or any other person. It should be between her and the child alone.
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that because, like you said, it could be a child out of rape. Some people aren't financially or mentally stable, so if they make the decision to have an abortion rather than bring a child into a bad situation, let's just say that, I don't see nothing wrong with it.
And states like the red states, like Texas and Alabama, they might make it illegal or shorten how long you have to get one, because or they might make it where you can't travel to go somewhere else and get one. And it's like, they're taking away your free will. Like, you can't even travel to go places. And how do they know? Well, how would they know if you went out of country or to another state to get one?
Yeah. But even though it's that abortions have been banned, that's not going to stop it, right? It's just going to go back to before, way back when, before they became legal.
Right. And, back then, they didn't start doing studies or keeping track of that till the 70s. But back then, a lot of Black women didn't really engage in abortions. There were some, but they opted to keep their children. And so the majority of people or women having abortion were white. And so, I read the studies back then, and I thought, what they tried to do is they tried to indicate that Black women are the ones that were the primary ones having abortion. But what they did is they lumped Black women, Native, every non-white cultural group, and then they lumped it up as Black women. But when you divided it out, there were very few Black women actually getting abortion back then.
I can believe it. Just like we were just talking about this the other night on fan base, and the guy he pulled up and he said like 1% of the abortions result in rape, and then there was like another percent of, I want to say, incest or something I can't remember exactly, but I know 1% was rape. And I'm thinking like, so are they just not reporting or are they just not asking? Or where did he get those numbers? How do they come up with those numbers? Because are they asking people when they come into the clinic why they're getting an abortion? Because I can't see how it could just be 1%. So the comment says, in Kentucky, abortion is banned regardless of incest or rape. So now under state law, an 11-year-old could be raped, but so long as she and the fetus are healthy. So as long as her and the fetus are healthy, she would have to carry the baby full term. Wow.
Oh my goodness. And they're also deciding, like, they're leaving this, they're taking the mother out of the picture completely, because then if it becomes down to a medical decision, it's the doctor who decides, not her.
Decides what?
Decides whether she can have an abortion or not if her life was involved.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That is really crazy. So we just don't have any rights anymore.
Nope.
So do you think like they're taking like women's rights away?
Yeah,
Do you
they
think
have.
that's what the aim is to take women's rights away?
I mean, why would you make a law like this? It doesn't even make sense to me. And then California is talking about, like, some groups are really pro-abortion, so to the point where they're saying they want abortions to be accepted all the way to birth. Now, that is unethical and isn't unhumane to me. Now, if you're going to get rid of your baby, get rid of it way before then. Otherwise, put it up for adoption.
In Arizona, they said that her life has to be involved in order for an abortion. So basically her life has to be at stake. In serious danger in order for them to consider abortion. So Boom, I would like to ask you, what do you think of, how do you feel about all this? Do you think it's okay? Do you think, like, I would like to hear your opinion. I told you, yeah, I told you that we don't have any rights.
So what they're doing is they're basically encouraging low population. They want less people in the United States. So this is like a policy to lower the population.
So you're saying if they take away abortion, then we have less chances of more people from other countries coming into the United States. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I just heard the argument that they're encouraging low populations of Americans for some reason. For California, pro-abortion activists are encouraging low population.
I think if it's not, let me see.
Because why would they want a baby that's born? It's born. How are you going to abort a born child? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Some here. Oh, same here. There was a trigger law in place in Kentucky. So as soon as Roe versus Wade was overturned, abortion was banned entirely, except to save the mother's life. And that includes children who may be born with severe disabilities.
Wow.
But I could go deeper with the conspiracies. Well, I put the link up, so if you would like to come up. This is, and then kind of going off of top. I think the last time that we were having a discussion, somebody mentioned that, what was it, like making the decision on when a woman has a baby, like as far as their birth certificate, what to put on their birth certificate as far as female, male. Like the parent doesn't have a decision in that anymore.
What? When
Yeah.
did this take place?
I don't know. The last discussion we had on here, I can't remember if it was Boom or somebody, they brought that up. The government the government are way too involved in certain human rights. Yeah, they're taking them away. They are
Yeah.
taking them away little by little.
Yeah, they've been doing the civil rights ever since. Yeah, ever since Obama. Obama obliterated a lot of civil rights that we gained, and now they're doing other things. It's like completely reversing everything.
Yeah, sucks, man. This world is getting so
It's like they're
stupid.
trying to make a third world country, and I don't even want to say it out loud because I don't want to give it energy, but I've said it several years ago where they want this country headed, but they want a rich, they don't want a middle class. They just want wealthy people and they want poor people. And why do you think that is?
Because if you're poor, you have no say.
You can't even do anything. And you're just living to cater to them.
Hello, boom.
Yo, what's going on, y'all?
Not
Hi.
much.
Man.
People was requesting to talk about this. I didn't plan on. That's why I don't have my camera on. But I jumped on here to see what people wanted to share and hear other people's opinions.
Well, you know me, man. I be far off in this shit, man. So I know I be talking kind of crazy. So I hope y'all don't be like I'm weird. Y'all can you know how I be, man. I be like y'all can go look up everything I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'll start off with a lot of times the reason that they started calling people conspiracy theorists is because that was a way to push the truth away. So when you call somebody a conspiracy theorist, that then in return makes the person think that it's just bullshit somebody just came up with, right?
Mhm.
So that's why they use that term, conspiracy theorist. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist myself, but I will say that a lot of times the facts do be put out there, just like covered or buried or whatever, so nobody can actually see them. But where I'm going with this is basically, you guys ever heard of children harvesting?
What was that again?
Children harvesting.
No.
Okay, so basically there's a lot of child abductions that you know children have never been found, la la la. And so when you go into the conspiracy theorist part of it, it comes to uh where they're being abducted because of children harvesting. So basically there's this chemical called adrenochrome. Go look this up as well. There's a chemical called adrenochrome, and you only get it, I believe, off of the fear of a child. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a certain age, and the chemical is made almost, in your body. You don't get it unless you have a certain fear. And I guess with the children, it's more pure. So where I'm going with this is basically, if we overturn this abortion thing, and people, well, not if, since they have, what ends up happening is you have these people out here who, have possible rapes or just can't take care of their children regardless. Either way, they have children that they're not going to be able to take care of. And so then you end up possibly putting these children in child care. Well, a lot of times the children are raised by the government. After that, they're put into the system, and maybe somebody get them, maybe somebody don't. But for the most part, these children are not accounted for, so to speak. Basically, nobody cares about them. So what ends up happening then is you can basically abduct these children and get the adrenochrome out of them. Now, what the adrenochrome do to people is supposedly it keeps them younger. So you get them scared, or
Oh.
you get this fear out of them. Once you get them to a certain amount of fear, you get their blood, and then they're supposed to drink it or whatever, and it keeps them younger. So again, this is just my conspiracy. Now, as far as the whole situation on the real side of it, take away the conspiracy part of it, it's still fucked up regardless if there's no child harvesting involved. It's still fucked up because, like I said in the comment, man, what if it's a family involved rape? What if you are raped by one of your family members and now you have to have this child? Like, that's not right. What if you're just walking down the street and you're raped by somebody? and you have
Right.
to have this child, it's still not right. So either way, conspiracy or not, to me, is it's not right. But I like to stick on the conspiracy side because I always felt like the government have a plan. That's why I always say the government to do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like I really believe that they have their own plan. I really believe that they are, bamboozling us, as some would say, to thinking that they're doing this for a good cause. When, in my thoughts, they're doing this so they
They're
can keep
protecting
control.
themselves.
For an
Correct.
underlying reason.
So,
Correct.
Bloom, question: have you heard about the issue, the court case? Because they haven't really played up the court case, and it was so disgusting to me. But the Trump case, I mean, the case with Trump, it was Obama, it was the Queen of England, her son, and all these higher up people who were called to court over the human trafficking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Queen of England's son got caught with a boy that he had in his room. The boy tried to escape out of the window with that with he tied some sheets together, and he wasn't able to hold on well, and he fell to his death, and he was naked. And
Wow.
so that was a whole big old thing over there, and you didn't hear it on the news over here at all. But
Um. Go ahead. I'm
but
sorry.
they're supposed to be so involved in child trafficking for that reason too. So I don't know.
Well,
What do you know about that?
I know I didn't hear about that because I do know that they do like to, give us the Will Smith smacking Chris Rock situation over, or Kevin Samuel's death, or new, saying a new video. Um, Excuse me, I'm sorry. They do like to give us like the newest video in the world. You know what I'm saying? They'll publicize those things over the situations
Right.
that they have.
Oh, but this
Um,
has been over of several years, just before COVID shut down, and her title is supposed to been removed. You don't see her with the crown out in public anymore. The seal on the gate has been removed, and stuff like that. And then they said she didn't actually have they didn't move her out of the out
the
of
castle or
the
whatever,
castle or whatever
right?
they live in. But they took they said she wasn't the real heir, and
So
so I don't really know what's going on over there. But who was exposing a lot of that, and now
Donald
Was
he's
Trump.
Trump.
completely crazy, and that's young Pharaoh. And he
Oh, I'm into.
and
I'm hip to do.
Leon Kennedy made friends with him, and ever since they made friends, he's been really off his rocker, and I don't know. I think they sent him in there to mess him up, but he doesn't make sense anymore to me.
Yeah, man, a lot of times when people do start speaking the truth or start getting a little bit too close to the truth, they get locked up for weird shit, jaywalking or some old crazy ass shit they get locked up for, or caught with this and caught with that. And again, these are all conspiracy things, but it just seems a
It
little bit
wasn't
too.
conspiracy because you could prove the court case. It was Obama. It was Trump. Because Trump was attacking the human trafficking ring, and I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
the reason why he was attacking it is because somebody in that ring made him mad, and so he was
Mm-hmm.
attacking all of them, like the big wigs. They were
Well, no,
getting
no, I'm
caught.
not. I'm not saying that the human trafficking part of it or what's going on in England was a conspiracy. I'm talking about like people like Young Pharaoh or Rashad Jamal or people like that who actually be speaking on these subjects, trying to reach the people to get them to open their eyes. I'm talking about those people who
Oh
actually
yeah.
get they
I
the
think
ones who
it's a
get.
mistake when you think you're going to be about to blow up and make money, and somebody that's really famous just out of the blue starts making friends with you. Come on,
Man,
something's
that's
wrong with
crazy.
that.
Man, let's go back to the COVID situation real quick. And, I'm not going to speak on the actual, virus. I'm just going to speak on the situation. And, when the COVID situation happened, that's also around the time the Jeffrey Epstein situation was happening. And
Yeah,
we all,
that's what I'm mean. That's when it was really. That's when it went to court, and
hmm
they were being attacked. I mean, Trump was attacking them big
I
time.
mean, we got Harvey Weinstein. We got all these things that was going on, but we would give you like 5, 10 minutes of it. And then for the next 8, 12 hours, we'll just talk about COVID, mask up, get your vaccine, and all this other stuff. And it was like, okay, we won't talk about the major situations. We just gonna say a little bit of it, and then we're going to bury it. Like I was speaking on earlier, how we try and bury the truth, like the
And you have to
finances.
know the court case, because I downloaded it from the internet and I was reading it. It's some stuff that was going on, man.
Yeah, a lot, man. You got the when they were speaking on
I'll
how
never look at those people the same way.
they was talking, they showed the picture of Bill Clinton in a dress, in a painted in the dress in Epstein's house on the island or whatever, you know. And it was like, okay, so why would he do that? Is that just to remind Clinton that he got something on him? Like, you know what I'm saying? What's the situation with that? But again, they're not going to speak on too much of
And
what's
I'm
going
never
on.
looking at Obama the same way, but also Hillary Clinton, when she ran for president, a whole bunch of stuff came out about her with that stuff too.
Because when you talk about the Pizzagate, which was, you know, the emails and how we would say, how they, excuse me, I keep saying we because I'm speaking through them kind of, but how they would say, yeah, I would like to order a pizza,
Yeah.
have it here by 30 minutes type situation, like, you know what I'm saying? So they trying to bury those type of emails in the whole situation. So yeah, so when we go back to this, when we do go back to this abortion situation, it only to me personally, it only all goes back to that, like, because it just seems like they're doing something that we don't know. There was this dude named Alex, I can't remember his name, white dude, man. He supposedly snuck in a little gathering that they do. You know what I'm saying? They little gift to the gods gathering. I don't know, ritual gatherings or something like that, man. He had got some video or whatever of the things they was doing. They wasn't doing the actual ritual with children, but they were using like dolls and things like that would be considered children. There's another lady out here who I don't know her name, but you can just look on Google and look up the lady who makes human cakes. Now the cake is made with red velvet cake and icing, but the icing is made to look like skin, and she will make a whole body out of red velvet cake and then dress it with the icing and skin. And
Oh,
so
I
when
saw that. Yeah, I saw
yeah,
that.
so you know what I'm saying? It's like we'll do those little things and put them in the public for you to think that it's just TV, but in actuality, this is what we're actually doing. Not to go too far into it, but most people who are Christians, and I've been a part of this myself, we have done rituals because, you know, we do the I don't know why I keep losing my train of thought, but we do the thing where we do the Jesus blood, Jesus body, where we drink the wine and we eat the cracker, right? So technically, that's a ritual. You know what I'm saying? We're not actually drinking his blood or eating his body, but at the end of the day, that's what they do. It's called communion, right? Communion. We drink the wine, that's Jesus' blood. Then we eat the cracker, that's Jesus' body. That's a ritual. So in a sense, you know what I'm saying? It's like they put it in our face as if it's okay, and we don't actually see the outside of it. But when I think about this abortion situation, I really just go into the fact that a lot of people out here are going to start having kids that they either can't take care of, because they're not financially able, or because they're not, or because it's just, you know, some type of rape situation, and those kids are going to go into the system, and those are going to be more kids for these people to use for their own personal reasons. That's my thing, man. That's how I look at it. So I just don't think that it's cool. Anyways, I think that you guys' rights are being taken away. I had told Miss Londa a few weeks ago, you know what I'm saying? I told her I don't believe that they have any, y'all have any rights, but I don't believe that we as people are going to start having rights anyways, because we got some other things coming up other than this. But this is major. But there are other things that are going to be happening future wise that is really just about to take away all our rights in like the simplest ways. There's going to be a lot of people to agree with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's really about to get tough for us, man. This is going to be a situation, but it's about to get even tougher, man. So,
You know, in enslavement days, when you know, they profited off of the women not aborting their babies, but you know, the early
right.
captives were very skilled with herbs and stuff, and they knew how to abort without having a baby.
And I,
So
I heard that as
There are
well. As
herbs
far
you
as they're
can
going to be,
use to abort.
I heard that as well as there was going to be like backdoor abortions and things like that. With some medical doctors are going to lose their licenses because they're still going to be against it, and they're going to try and come to somebody's house and actually do it. You got to know people, then trust them. You know what I'm saying? So I heard that it's going to definitely still be some back doors, but it's still about to get tough. Like you got to, it's going to get tough, man.
They're putting women's health at risk with this kind of stuff because they're gonna go back to, like you said, backdoor abortion.
And so when you go into that, we got to really think about who it's going to affect. Like for me, I'm looking at the fact that I got my oldest daughter is 13, my next is 11, and my next is 9. I have 3 girls, so you know what I'm saying. It's really, really going to affect our children, like the most. Like and most likely people, I would say, I know that there's people that's maybe 50 years old, women that's 50 years old that still having kids, but for the most part, it's going to affect probably women that's under 50, like you know what I'm saying, or younger. That's going to have these issues that the government is putting in place. It's almost like the government is telling women what they can and can't do with their body, and that don't hit me good either. That doesn't sound too good either.
So this is a good. So she says she just read on Facebook that the governor here won't participate in the new Roe versus Wade. Now, do they have a choice? Do the states
Yeah,
have a
the
choice?
states do. Yeah, it's the
Oh,
governor make that
okay.
decision.
Do they have a choice? Because the state and the government two different things. I don't know if the state
It's the
have a
states
choice.
who are regulating. They're leaving. The government is leaving it up to the states.
Oh, okay. So I ain't get
But
that far into it. Okay.
even still, they don't have. They shouldn't have the state should not have a right either.
The state
Regardless,
shouldn't have a right.
it's still being regulated by someone other than a woman's own body. And how did these women that's what I'm saying, in the legislature allow it? Why did they allow it?
Well, I always said to answer that question or to try to answer that question on my own personal thoughts. I always stated that if you're, it doesn't like it's time we have to like start coming together. I mean, white, black, Mexican, Chinese, Mexican, whoever. Like we have to really start coming together because I always felt like if you're not government, then they don't really care about you. So government being your mother had to be a lawyer, your dad got to be a judge. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, however that works. Your parents have to be a part of the government, and then when you're born, you're a part of the government. So it doesn't matter what race you are. If your parents are a part of the government, then that makes you government, which means you're not black, you're not white, you're not Mexican, you're nothing but another human being that they don't care about. So when you say, how do they let this go about? You gotta look into these people's background. A lot of these people who are senators and governors and mayors and things like that, most of the time their family was a part of the government. You know what I'm
But we're
saying?
still human beings, and they should have some kind of human decency.
You should, but think about how the things that they are doing. They're. I mean, like when you talk about people like Pharaoh, when you talk about people like Rashard Jamal, they go deep into like reptilians and things like that. Sometimes they don't even believe that these people are human. Honestly, they think that these people are from another planet. We could go deeper into that, but that's a whole nother story. But a lot of times they don't even think these people are human. And so when you look at the whole situation and you look at these people, they don't have to worry about bills. When they raise gas prices up, and we like, oh damn, I got to put $100 just to fill my tank up. These people are the ones who have the billions and billions of dollars in taxes put to the side. You think they just leaving that shit sitting there? No, they go in there and touch whatever they want when they feel like it. You know what I'm saying? So we can't go in there and touch what we want. We can cry about how much we get on our tax return, or how much taxes have gone up. But a lot of times that money goes into whatever safe they got, and they go in that safe and they touch it whenever they feel like it. They get whatever, however many dollars they feel like it. So gas is not going to affect them. Not to mention they homeboys are Elon Musk or Toyota, or you know what I'm saying, the people who are making these efficient cars. So what can you give a person who is already rich? You know what I'm saying? If I'm already rich and I'm cool with Walmart, there's really no reason for me to go to the grocery store because my homeboy is Walmart. I can just holler at him, hey, I got an electric car. You want one? Yeah, here you go. Yeah, go to the store, get whatever you want. So we're not even worried about money at this point. You see what I'm saying? Y'all are the humans, us. You feel me? So it's crazy, but A lot of times I just don't think that they really care because they don't have to, man. They don't have to worry about a bill when their best friend or their uncle owns an electric company. You see what I'm saying? It's just like that's why I say I really feel like we have to really, really start coming together, man, because they don't
People in
care.
these jobs like nurses and doctors and first responders and even police. You're on the police department and you're carrying out orders because it's your job. You have a responsibility to be human first, in my opinion. Human first. And if that job is having you do immoral
Like,
things against your conscience, then it's time to go. It's time to get a different job. It's time to create a new job. It's time to get a business or something.
and that is true. Now, when you talk about first responders and doctors and things like that, I can definitely understand that situation. You know what they used to call doctors in the beginning, they called them witches. But I understand that situation. Now, as far as the police go, I can't agree with you on the police side because we all know what they was created for in the first place. So,
Yeah,
I,
but
I
yeah, but they still have. There's people on the force that think that they're trying to make a difference,
say
which I
people
don't
make a
believe
difference.
they
Correct.
can because the system isn't
Correct.
designed for it to be. But
Correct.
they still have a conscience. They're human, and they need to. They need to. I don't know. I don't. You know.
Hey, a little off topic. I used to work for this little company who sold like hair grow products and like biotins and things like that. And what they would do is a lot of times it was the older people who got caught up. It was sometimes younger people, but for the most time it was a call center. And when I answered the calls, it was a lot of older people who was calling. And what they would do is they would get somebody that was basically like off of Facebook scrolling or just a clicker. You know, you call them people clickers who always just clicking on things when they searching the web. And so they would click on something they would like maybe a biotin or your nails or grow your hair or face makeup or something like that. And it would be like, we will give you a 14-day free trial. And then when you get the 14-day free trial, that 14 days also included the time it even took for you to get the package. So by the time you got the package, by the time you got your product, it'll be like 9, maybe 8 days left for your free trial. So you'll be done spend $20, and then when your free trial over, they'll be done hit you for like another $130 or something like that. So you only be done have a product, and within 8 days, really could see the difference in the effect or whatever, and then turn around and have to pay $130. It just comes straight out your account. And they was doing this to people over and over and over again. And so, like what you said, is the morale of it. I couldn't do it no more. I started before I left. Like I started calling people back. Like I literally was like calling people back and was telling them like, look, man, this is what you got to do, because it was like a stupid ass process you had to do to go through to get your money. First, if you call in and ask for a refund, like, no, this is not what I asked. It's like, okay, ma'am or sir, there was no refund when you bought this. You already stated that there was no refund. And they're like, all right, well, why I can't get a refund? La la la. And you're like, well, you can't get a refund. So then when they had to actually bring in, damn, I can't remember the freak company. It was a certain play. What the freak is on my mind too? I think it's like BBO or something like that. But you had to basically state that you would tell somebody of law enforcement, and then once you tell somebody of law enforcement, then I have to give you the option. Okay, well, I have to put you on hold for 2 minutes. This is real talk. I have to put you on hold for 2 minutes. Come back and give you a 25% option refund. And then a lot of times people would take that. But if a person like, no, I won't. But if a person like, no, I want my whole money back, then I come back, I put you on hold for another 2 minutes, then I come back and I say, I give you a 50%. And then, no, I want my whole money. Sometimes people will stop at the 50%. Then they come back, no, I want my whole money. Then you like, all right, put them on hold for another 2 minutes. And then the third time, be like, okay, we'll give you a refund, but you can't do this anymore type situation. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, the morale of it is like, damn, like I got people calling in talking about this was my kid's milk money, this was this, that, and the other. You don't know who to believe, but at the end of the day, the whole situation was wrong. So like you're saying, it should be a morale situation with us as far as the government, the mayors, the senators, and stuff like that. But a lot of times, I just don't really think it is, man. Because most people
it's about the bottom line. They're getting paid off, and they
correct.
want to mess up their
Money hungry. And I think that this abortion situation is a part of the money, because once you start putting all these kids who can't be taken care of, these people, these women or these men that's having babies with these women and they can't take care of the kids, and you put them in the system, that's a whole extra tax dollar. We know that all this money that's going to these children's services, They sit them in the whole building, and these kids are in a big ass room with cots and everything like that. But the money that you guys are getting, it should be enough for these kids to have a nice ass house, pool in the backyard, big ass basketball court. Like, you know what I'm saying? But y'all not even giving them that. So all this money that y'all even supposed to be giving these companies that are putting these kids in these, putting these kids in these services, they help their livelihood is still not all that great. They probably better off with the parents. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, the government does the state, the government doesn't care about these kids. I did foster care before, and the what they tell you that you have to provide for those kids, I'm like, any foster parent that would actually go by that is just terrible. Because I mean, come on now, you know, kids need more than that. This is a good statement. So if women aren't allowed to have any aren't allowed to have an abortion anymore, then will the government have to revise the welfare program for all the babies being born?
Well, not all women are on. I don't think so, because not all women are on the welfare system or on support. But the way that they're structuring the economy, I would think maybe it would be more people seeking out assistance now, because if you make over 40,000, they're going to take most of that money for taxes. So we're
Yeah,
taxed more than rich people. So
yeah.
basically, you're still scraping by just to pay this high rent and all these other things. So maybe, there are, I don't even know if they'll do away with the child care programs, but I would think that more people will be starting to seek out assistance now because of the new tax rules and with the way the economy is going.
And then she says,
Because
and
everything's going to keep getting higher and higher, not just rent, but the groceries and all the utilities are going to get unbearable. There may be, there's going to be a lot happening.
then she
yeah,
also wants to know, will the child support program get stricter on paying child support?
I
of
don't know how
course.
they can do that because everybody's hurting financially.
Even people with good paying jobs are hurting financially in some way.
Right.
Of course, I think that
Because the taxes are getting the people who are on the good jobs, because they get you at the end of the year, and then you end up having to pay like $7,000 or $10,000 back, and then
Yep.
it's like, well, how am I gonna make it ahead if you're taking all my money at taxes?
Yeah.
And then if you don't file taxes, then you're really in trouble.
Yeah. She says, I know that a lot of women are on welfare, but there's still women. Oh, I know that a lot of women. You guys need to proofread. There. I know that all women aren't on welfare, but there's still women on welfare. And if you have a lot more foreigners coming here to America, to get aid. I'm sorry, aid.
yeah, that's true too as well. As far
But
as
the foreigners weren't getting welfare; they were getting Social Security that we worked for.
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the whole thing in itself. Because when you think about the Ukrainians that they brought over here, and we talking about there is a Similac shortage, but we know that there's like, I don't know, so many, like 40 million, 40 plus million containers of Similac on the border that they were given to those people that were coming over here because of what was going on in Ukraine, or what was supposedly going on in Ukraine. So yeah, they do like to give foreigners a lot more help, and they feel like we should help them with our taxes. So yeah, it's like I said, man. My whole thing, and I always say this, I just every my whole thing be, we got to figure out how to come together, man. That just be it for me. Like at the end of the day, we got to figure. I mean, like I don't even hear people talking about carpooling as far as all of this gas hikes and things like that. I still don't even be hearing too many people talking about carpooling. I do see people saying they do a hood Uber or all this, but it's like, what about us just fucking going working together somehow, like figuring it out somehow together? Because they playing, it's like it's chess, like, and they playing a dirty game, man. They really playing a dirty game. They perceiving it to be good, but it's really just working out for them. Like, it always has worked out for them, man.
Yeah,
But
but
it
the
never works.
masses of people are going to have to start standing together, because there's a lot of inhumane laws that they're putting out right now. And if we are just sitting back not allowing it, they're just going to keep doing it. I mean, look, other countries, they don't show it, but they will tear the whole country down. I mean, everybody will go out there rioting. I'm not saying rioting is the way, but there are ways, but people don't even want to cooperate with that. If you are strategic in your methods and where you spend your money, it'll cut out a whole lot of that.
I
Because
I,
want I wanted to piggyback on what Boone was saying about us sticking together. I get what you're saying, but when you talk about sticking together, it's got to be sticking together in all ways. So, like, if I can offer you, what did you say, carpooling? Remember that car runs on gas. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I can help babysit and remember, I want to be compensated. I need things as well too. So when you talk about sticking together, that's the hardest thing for our people to do, because everybody don't want to cooperate, right?
it's no
true,
choice
but
anymore. It's no choice anymore. It's getting to the point where you don't have an option. There's no other option but to stick together, or otherwise you won't make it.
and so when I speak on it, and you're right, you won't make it if we don't stick together. Because so when I speak on that, it's like it's not just all the way down to carpooling, because when we carpool, we really just going to work to make this person or these people who are making the rules even more powerful. It's the point where I'm saying is like working together on our backyards, our land. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Being sustainable in everything.
Correct. We come up, we go get us some land or something like that, man. We get us 20 people, you know what I'm saying, who come up with 10,000 real quick, you know what I'm saying? And that's what, $200,000, you know what I'm saying? Go buy some acres or something like that. You have your area, I have my area, but we had this garden area. You may not know how to milk a cow, but I do. And I don't know how to grow tomatoes, but you do. You know what I'm saying? So it has to come down to that. Like, we have to stop really caring about all these other things that's not really a necessity, that wasn't here when possibly we was younger, because I know that when I was younger, we still was doing dial-up. And when I was probably like 4 or 5, I was born in 1986. I don't even know if they had dial-up then. And I know that probably when I got a chance to get older, maybe around 9, 10, AOL came into effect and dial-up came into effect. But internet wasn't always a necessity. You see what I'm saying? I even tell people, like, cooking, stoves, things like that. These things wasn't like natural. Like, these wasn't like the main things that we did to survive in the beginning. Like, a lot of times people think that cooking. I know I may be going a little bit overboard, but cooking wasn't natural. Like, everybody didn't cook in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? People didn't have stoves and stuff like that, man. It was a theory that
Hold up.
uh,
Wait, how, what do you mean? What year? In the 80s?
no,
Not,
this
not in the 80s. He must be talking about in the
yeah.
60s or
I'm
the
just saying the
50s.
It wasn't
naturalistic.
even in the 60s. We had
No, it wasn't in the
stoves
'60s.
then.
No, listen. The theory of the first person to cook was um some tribe hunted some animal or whatever. They was eating the animal raw back in it back.
Oh, wait. Make sure, because I have the history in Africa. They wasn't eating no raw meat.
Well, they
They
maybe
were
not even wasn't
The
even eating
African
meat.
diet before colonization was vegetation,
Correct. That's what I'm
fruits,
saying. You see,
vegetables,
that's
nuts,
what I'm
seeds. They
saying.
did not eat animals.
So then if we talking about if we even go back to there, then if you're talking about the natural vegetation and they're just eating veggies and things like that, then that should tell us that cooking wasn't natural. It wasn't like something that everybody
Hmm.
had to do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, a lot of times we take these things and we make them necessities. Wi-Fi, having to have a cell phone, when we should just all be in some type of community where we can reach each other that way. We don't have to go to these companies and ask them or beg them for their situations or worry about this and worry about that, when we got our own area that we take care of ourselves. That's where I'm getting at. Like, a lot of things
yeah.
that we think is natural is really not natural. You know what I'm saying? When you think about the cows that we eat, those cows don't eat no meat, and they healthy as hell. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And we,
vegetation.
you see what I'm saying? So and they bigger than us, like you know what I'm saying. So we sit here and we got to get our protein out the cows, but the only reason why we getting our protein out of them is because they vegetation, they eat veggies. You know what I'm saying? So we can do the same thing they do and still be healthy. But we sit here and depend on the grocery store to have hamburger. Oh my God, there's no more hamburger on the shelf. We don't need that though. You see what I'm
No,
saying?
everybody used to farm. They had their own garden. Everybody's house had their own garden. They didn't have to go rely on the grocery store. But
Correct.
the other thing is, with on the gas situation, there's been so many people creating transportation that did not rely on the regular, that crude that they had. Look at the man that just got killed. He
In the
created
grocery store.
a car running on water. He's not the first one that created a car that runs on water.
Nope. He
So
sure
is
not.
that
There's
why
been
he
a
got
lot of
killed?
inventions, and they do not, that will affect their bottom line, and they will get rid of people real quick.
I think she's talking about the man that had got
That
killed
just got
during
killed
the
recently. He was a
grocery
police
store.
officer.
Yeah, he was during a grocery store situation that
Mhm.
white boy went in there and killed all them people in the grocery
Yeah,
store. Yeah, he was one of them. Now, see, that's another conspiracy right there. Now they trying to
it's not a
Oh
conspiracy
yeah,
because
you
no,
why
no,
better
are
no.
say something.
They trying to well they not they using that as a conspiracy. That what the conspiracy of that is. Well, the truth of that, from what they're giving us, is that he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, just like the rest of those
Mhm.
people. But the
Why
conspiracy
does
of
that
it
happen
is
every single time though?
right, because the conspiracy of it is the reason that they did that was to get rid of this man because he was actually being publicized for doing the car running off of water thing.
Now
So
let's talk about the man that created the machines for water that can create water out of the air.
I seen that as
When
well.
he gave the machine to Detroit, and they, and he didn't just build one for Detroit, but he built some for other areas too, like other countries. So where's that today?
Man, they taking everything from us, and again, that's why I think that this abortion thing is just another chess move, man. It's just something to make us think like, and I don't even know what they trying to make us think out of the good. I don't know what people who actually voted for this because it was overturned, right? So if it was overturned, I mean, and the first time it was actually passed that they couldn't do it, correct?
Yeah,
So I think the if the only way this was overturned is somebody got paid off to do that.
Which means that the people vote didn't matter.
Right.
right.
Oh, it never mattered.
It
Yeah, it
never
don't matter.
matters.
Matter.
Which means then
Vote because the vote doesn't pick the president or
it's the
whatever
electoral.
because it's already been decided.
So the electoral people are supposed to go with the people's side, but a lot of times because they got friends in high places, they decide not to. Is what it sounds like.
Hmm.
Which is
Yeah,
even
they
more
all
crazy.
got paid off with all of these revision of bills and stuff. They've all set their businesses are set. They got all this money, undercover money, and their families are set. So they're prepared for what they're doing. Their families are taken care of.
Now you see why I be doing my shows that way I be doing them, Miss Londa, because I really don't be trying to like spew no propaganda or no pessimistic type of situations, but I just be wanting people to understand what these people are doing. Because when I talk about the CBDC, the central banking district digital currency, or when I talk about the digital dollar, or when I talk about the electric cars and situations like that, it is a known fact that even Biden said, I mean, out his own mouth, that they will be trying to get gasoline cars off the road. Now he didn't say we was gonna raise gas prices to get the gasoline cars. I mean, get the gasoline cars off the road. But he did state that that was one of their things that they were trying to do was to remove all gasoline cars off the road. So you would sit here and hear that and be like, okay, it's polluting the earth. Let's go along with it, la la la. But not seeing the outcome of it. Well, until we get everybody to get gasoline cars off the road, we just gonna raise gas prices. So now gas prices gonna get to $10, $12 a gallon, which would make a person be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should go get this more electric efficient car. And then when you go get the electric efficient car, and then you get on here and we get on here and we get to talking about we don't like the Roe v. Wade situation or we don't like the cover-ups that the government is doing. Guess what? All three of us tomorrow are going to get an email telling us why we can't get in our car to go to work. And then you see what I'm saying? And then when we try and get in our car, that motherfucker won't turn on. Why? Because it's connected through their internet. So they could just go push a fucking button, which is and also another truth. is that they have been putting these chips in the cars, all new cars, mainly gas and not. Most cars that's like electric, we have a 2021 Traverse, Chevy Traverse. It runs off of gas, but it does have a computer chip in it. And most cars do have a computer chip. But now they gave the law enforcement uh, power to be able to push a button and turn the car off, just like that. You see what I'm saying? So if I was to try and run from the police, which I don't have no reason to at this time, but if I was to, they could just push a button and turn my car off, and there's nowhere for me to go. You see what I'm saying?
And they can locate where you are
At any time. You see what I'm
I
saying?
got
So now
in my car that I can start my car up 3 blocks away from my home.
So you telling me that they can't? You telling me they can't do it three states away from your home? You see what I'm saying? So it's like at this point, man, our privacy is gone, our rights are gone. It's like, and it's coming to that, especially when we do the digital dollar.
This is the first step. If they can keep getting away, like what people don't realize is they'll start something in a state as a pilot, and if there's no uproar and there's nobody that's contesting it, guess what? They're going to do it all the way across the board. And this is another one. It's going to be other things. Now they're taking away women's rights. What is going to be next? A lot of civil rights are already gone. What is going to be next?
Are men going to be there? Are they going to take away men?
I would really be concerned if your children are in school because you know what they've done to the Native Americans with their children and the things that they've done and gotten away with. They're starting to put on the masses of people now. So I don't think your children going into their institutions are going to be safe. So I'm just going to put that out there.
Oh man, that CRT law, man, they had passed, I think, in Texas, where they was trying to remove the history and things like that, just so they can just destroy it all, like to where we don't even have to teach the kids what the hell happened in the past. We don't want the kids to know what we did or what they did or nothing. Just trying to rewrite history. The rules is the way they playing this game, man. It's cold. I can salute them on the way they playing this game. They playing it cold, man. They playing it cold. It's like me coming to you, telling you that my child need diapers, and then when you give me the money, I go buy me a bottle. But I know I could tell so many people that my child need diapers, to where I get so much money. I done bought diapers. And I still got money to do what else I want to do. I really feel like that's how they playing the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? They make everybody feel like
social engineering.
Correct. It's getting scary out here, man. That's why I was speaking on.
But they've been doing it and getting away with it. Do you guys know the history? Like a lot of people that are older don't talk about those things when they should have passed that knowledge down. Like, all the major lakes in the world, like Lake Rainier, those were thriving. We only know about like Black Wall Street in Harlem. We know about Tulsa, but those were all Black thriving communities that they destroyed.
The lakes over.
And there are whole houses still under those lakes. And people
out there boating on them and fishing and all of that, thinking that it's sweet and having fun and jumping off of cliffs, jumping into the water, not knowing that.
And we used to have a mini Black Wall Street here, but they ran 94 through all those Black businesses. We probably have, I don't even know how many we have today. Because what they didn't do away with when they ran it through 94 through the Black community, when they put light rail in, that destroyed the majority. The rest of them is hardly any now.
Man, I had a friend that hit me to this situation called the Devil's Punch Bowl, and it's something down in Georgia. And so when you YouTube or Google Devil's Punch Bowl, it'll give you all information on it. But it's basically like just some land, but you know, obviously I'm not talking crazy because you know about the lakes, but it just give you some information about how they had basically pushed all these people into like this little ditch basically type thing, and you know, it flooded, and so many people it basically just the vegetation just grew all over it, trees and grass and all that other stuff. So many people had died and drowned in these things, kids and children, and especially people of our color. That was the main, the main hit. But so people won't even like grow fruits and vegetables there because they know that soil has a lot of the dead people who died in that ground. Like
The
what I'm saying, a lot of
energy, yeah.
man, it is crazy the things that they really try and cover up, or just not even cover up, just don't publicize. Like we just publicize the new
But the people that
Beyonce.
know about it, they keep it hush hush. I've never been that way. I guess everybody who knows me know I don't hold my tongue like that. I speak out,
And I
and I
bet you
tell
lost a lot of
people.
friends because of that too. I
But
bet
that's
because
why I was. I think that's why I was born. I speak the truth. I'm
did you
gonna
lose a
tell
lot
you.
of friends because of that?
I don't really care.
No, I'm just asking. Did you?
Yes.
Like I don't want to hear that today. I'm not trying to hear that. What you talking about? You talking crazy? Yeah, because that's how it is. Like they get so many people who I call them sheeps, man. They're called sheeps, man. It's like you could give them some of the information, but a lot of times, like if you ain't talking about who turning up
it's
or
it's cognitive dissonance, and people don't want
cognitive
to.
dissonance.
They don't it because it's too frightening. They don't want to have to deal with it. They don't want to
Hmm.
deal with it. I don't care what facts you tell them. They're not ready to
Hmm.
hear it, so
It
I'm
ain't
not going to
affecting
believe
me
it.
right now. It ain't affecting this. I don't care. It ain't got nothing to do with me. As long as my situation took care of, I don't care. Yeah, it's definitely like
It's
that.
too overwhelming for them to deal with, so they refuse to
It's
acknowledge.
scary.
It
It's
does get
scary.
scary.
It does get scary. Like I was just speaking on the other day, man, about the food shortages and things like that, man, and why they are, what I'm saying, cutting down all these food industries, or all of a sudden, like we done seen factories burn down for whatever freak accident or something like that. But damn, it's been like 40, 50 industries, food industries that just all of a sudden burnt down. Planes that flew into them. You know what I'm saying? That's just in this year. Like within the last 12 months, we done lost like 50 major food industries. Why? Why is the government buying up all this land? Why is Bill Gates buying up all this land? How come y'all taking all this tax money that y'all done received off of us and buying up all the land? The goal is to
Well,
put
they
this all
didn't
into the inner
gave the
city.
other countries our money,
That too.
basically.
Y'all just sent $40 billion over here. But see, that's another play in itself because like when you give a country $40 billion because they don't got it, what does that mean? That basically
They're
means
setting up infrastructure over there.
correct because
But
now you in our pocket.
this is the thing. We have a family member, and she's somewhat of a visionary. Everybody called her crazy when I was growing up. I loved her to death, and I still do. She was telling us that a long time ago when I was a kid, save your seeds because it's going to come a time when there's going to be food shortages. They're not going to be, you're not going to be able. What's happening right now? She was saying when I was little, and people
Nobody
would
wanted
be
to hear
like,
it.
they was like, she's so crazy, you know.
Hmm.
But she was telling the truth.
And I
She was
mean, it's in
telling.
our eyes though. Ain't it? How many times we done heard when I was younger, you could get a loaf of bread for 25 cents. I mean,
Yeah.
like it's been in our eyes the whole time. Candy bars 5, 6 cents. Now they fucking $2 for a candy bar. It's been in our face the whole time. But we just don't see it. We just get mad, or oh, we if y'all gonna raise this, then raise our minimum wage, or raise our wages. But then when they raise the wages, they raise the food.
Yeah, they
So
never
it's
allow you to really, and then they come up with new formulas to say they're giving you cost of living raise and stuff, but they don't really give you the real amount of the real inflation amount. They're just working with the numbers to play so they can lie to you. So it's like they don't get a raise. You don't ever get a raise
you'll
because
never get a raise. They saying now that twenty
inflation
dollars.
is too much.
They saying $20 an hour is basically down there minimum wage. Like $20 an hour. It's like minimum
The
wage. Like
livable wage, well, it was before they started this mess, was $28 and something in Minnesota. So anybody making under that, they're really struggling. And when you're making 28 something an hour, um, they're hitting you on taxes
Yeah.
with the new tax system. So it's like okay, you're making this up front, but as soon as you file that taxes, you're going to owe all this money. So people have these payment plans with IRS to pay back money just because they're making a little bit more, and then they file again and they go back through that cycle, so they never get ahead. People who make $100,000 a year, do you know about 60% of that is taxed?
Tax. And then what are y'all doing with this tax money? Because y'all not spending it on the roads like y'all say y'all are. Y'all not spending it on these schools because kids are either they didn't took the book, they didn't got so smart with it to where they didn't took the books out of the school and put the kids on computers. So now you can't even complain about the kids having the same books because we just put it on the computer for them. So now where's the book money going? Y'all not even giving them books no more. Y'all giving them laptops or
Well,
computers.
what they're doing on those online schools, I had I had to take my kids out of that online because it was whatever the teacher's knowledge of history, she would write that. And I'm like a history major, and I'm like, um, where's the references for all this stuff she's writing, because she's incorrect. And it's like I was so frustrated with that online school because they can that it's so much discretion just for the teacher, and there's no books that they were referencing. They're not teaching the kids how to research and find the truth. It's just whatever I say. And if you don't, if those kids don't answer on those quizzes the way she wrote it, then you get a
It's
bad
wrong.
grade.
And but not even just online school. My son is in high school right now, and he doesn't get books at all. He gets a little laptop that he uses in class, and especially when the 2020 situation happened, and they sent all the kids home, they all were on the laptops. But for the most part, my son has never had a book at all, and he's been in high school for this whole year, I believe, and next year will be his second year. So yeah, because last year was his freshman year. So this whole freshman year, it's been on a laptop, like no
That's
books.
why I said if you rely on the school system to teach your kids, they are uneducated. You have to teach your kids
Right.
stuff. You like I always made sure they had a project. We read a big thick book as a family to make sure they stayed engaged. I gave them assignments. um I did not allow just the school system, because they were in school, they're not learning anything, they're not engaging their mind, they're not teaching them how to think critically. So you as a parent, you can't just rely, it's not the school's job to teach your kids. You have to put in some effort to teach them how to survive, how to think critically, how to learn stuff. I
which
mean,
tells
because
us which tells us that parents that we got to start as parents we have to start learning how to live off of 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
look, I know we're stressed and we're overworked, but you have to think about your family line and lifting them up, because if you don't, and you're allowing somebody else to teach your kids, they're not going to make it. They're not going to get what they need.
Oh man, what are we gonna do, man?
That's why in some communities, like in Atlanta, I loved it there because they have homeschool co-ops. Like they have retired professors and school teachers that help, and they come and they teach those kids. They're homeschooled. They're not in the system. They don't get paid for doing that. They do it willingly, and those kids are smart, and they're not part of the school system, but they're learning. And that is something that I don't see too much here. I see people homeschooling, but there's no cooperatives where they're collaborating together, and they're, you know what I mean? There needs to be.
Yeah, I said that before. Like, man, I was thinking like that we needed more communities like that, or I needed to be enlightened on more communities like that, because for me, it's like we should have, if anything, we should be putting certain children or certain people through schools to get their, PhDs in teaching, because then we can keep those people in our communities to teach our
Yeah.
kids or things
And
like
they
that.
they have the right thing because they're stakeholders. They know what the kids need. And it's like, there's a lot of Facebook groups you know for homeschool cooperatives, and they're meeting up by location. So it's like a lot of African American groups. or those are and they do a lot of work. But I love the homeschool cooperatives in Atlanta. I know there's a similar movement in Chicago, where this guy is has people are using his model, where little bitty kids that are toddlers, they know the continents, they know the countries in Africa, they know the names. I mean, they know the math. They're teaching math the right way, because the way the school system teaches math is incorrect, and it's impossible to learn it very well. So, that's why foreigners, they are taught math the right way. So when they come over here, they're very good at math because they were taught the right way. And our kids they're oh they're breaking it up into parts where it's so confusing.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm saying you have to teach your kids at home.
It's like systematic failure, man. They want us to fail, man. They want the people
They
to fail.
do.
That way we can continue depending on them, man. It's all about dependence, and they definitely want to take our independence away. They got this thing called the social score that's already taking effect in China. They like to do a lot of these things, like you said, in certain states. They like to do these. Uh, what did you say earlier? You called it something earlier, where they try and see if it work and see how the people react. You said something.
A
You called it
pilot. Yeah, they do
basically,
these
yeah.
little pilots in different states.
Especially in those countries, like those countries that have a lot of dictatorships going on. They love to do it in those countries because the people can't speak out. And so, like in China right now, they have a social credit system going on. Um, that it's all about how you are perceived in the public, or how you perceive, excuse me, how you perceived to the government in the public. So, if the government, you might get, think about your credit. Like, how people, I'm trying to get my credit higher, try to get my credit up so I can go buy a loan and get a loan and all this other stuff. Um, in China, they have it to where, it's like from 330 to like 900 or something like that. And so you'll get extra points just for helping an old lady across the street. But let's say we see you standing outside and you having an argument with the person, both of y'all can lose points for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So then if
What
your
are
point,
we, video games now?
I mean, hey, yeah,
Yeah,
you so
they
so yo, so
they got it down to a science. And there's a they plan for hundreds of years in advance. So um but this is the thing, like, when the pilots, they started in the school, any of the systems, they started, like, they'll start with us doing certain things in the school, and if it gets, and if nobody, there's no commotion, they'll make those policies
hmm
statewide, and then it'll go to all the other states, and then they do that. It's not just with schools, it's all their institutions.
that social credit system is definitely coming here. I can see a lot of people, agreeing with it because of how it works. It definitely sounds good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, so if I do good, I get a high score, la la la. It sounds good, but when you add the digital currency into it, it then becomes definitely invasion of privacy, because the social score is only going to do is make them put more cameras up to watch it. So that's already taking our privacy. But then when you're talking about the digital dollar, which is definitely going to take effect, because the United States dollar is not nothing. Plus the G7, which is most of the major countries, including the United States, that runs the world. Um, they want to put this digital credit score in. I mean, this digital dollar in, because the same way they did the food stamps. How they took the food stamps off of paper and put it on the card. That's how they're going to do the money, because now there's not going, because the money is not worth anything. So therefore, when you have a low social credit score, there's certain things that you just can't buy. Your social credit score is just too low. We're not going to give you a loan for that house. We're not going to give you a loan for that car. Matter of fact, your social score is too low for you to get this job. You see what I'm saying? And then when you do get the job, and we're going off of digital currency, now we can just determine what you can and can't buy. Because if you are on some type of government aid, food stamps, Section 8, whatever the case may be, um, we are able to know where you live at. We could tell you where you've been living at. If you've been on Section 8 for the last 10, 12 years, and you done moved from one place to the other. We know where you lived at. We know how long you lived there. We know if you own some type of food stamps. We know the type of foods that you like to buy. We know what you like to eat on Tuesday and Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? We know where you like to shop at. We know everything about you already. So when we do the social credit score and we go into the digital dollar, not only do we know everything you like to eat, we know the things that you like to buy. We know that you, and I mean, they already doing that with the Amazon thing. When the 2020 situation happened, didn't nobody even want to touch a dollar because we didn't want to get sick. You see what I'm saying? So we was already Amazoning or Walmart carts or Instacarts or whatever. So now we
I
just
think
know everything.
when they made the EBT card, they already knew.
Well,
Yeah,
we got
that's
we
fact.
got
But
the
you had
right.
to be getting some type of government aid. Everybody wasn't getting
Yeah, that's
government.
true.
So if you wasn't getting government aid, then we only knew what you was buying through the bank. So if you had, if you used a card through the bank and you used Chase or Wells Fargo or something like that, then we can go to Wells Fargo and ask them what did you like. But at this point, when we do the digital dollar, this is all ran by the government. This is gonna be the government central banking digital currency. This is gonna be ran by the government itself. Therefore, there is going to be no banks to go to but theirs. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, they're going to know everything, everything. And these are in effects, man. This CBDC is in effect. Like this is not no joke. They already doing it in Canada. They already doing it in London. This is not no joke. This is an actual fact that is going down. It's just like with us over here in America, the land of the free. We haven't had to take effect into that yet, but it's coming. It's all this is coming. Like it's coming. There's no stopping it. Like the only way that we cannot be involved in it is the people who don't want to be a part of it, don't want their privacy exposed. We gotta find us some land, and they might take that shit from us. Like, but we gotta figure
I
stuff.
was just gonna say, do you really think we have a choice? Like, no matter what we do.
I don't. I don't think that we have a choice. I think that what ends up happening is all these so-called gangsters, all these people who will shoot you because you stepped on their toe or because you took their girl. I think they'll need to be the front liners, and not so they can get hit first, but just the fact that they could be the security of the situation. You see what I'm saying? So if we out here, we got these lands and we got these high mountains. Those people who don't care about dropping somebody, putting somebody down. Um, I think that those are the ones that we need to get off of the bullshit they own and have our backs. You see what I'm saying? Because then when we can see a motherfucker coming from a mile away, you see what I'm saying? And we have to really be ready to die on our feet and not on our knees. Like you know what I'm saying? That's my whole thing about it. I don't think that we can change it. I don't think that we're gonna be able to stop it. I just really think that we have to die on our feet at this point. That's the only thing I can think of. Not on our knees. That's the only thing I can think of because it's coming, and there ain't nothing we can do about it.
Wow.
That's my thing. That's my like I said, man. When they can cut our cars off right now. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm like, oh no, I ain't fucking with you. You know what? I'm finna go to Miss Londa's land, and I go hop in my car and they cut my shit off. You see what I'm saying? So it's like how I'm gonna get there now? Like you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's we have to start now. Like we have to. It's like now or never. Like at this point, man, because they pushing us. They already pushing us into the inner cities. You see what I'm saying? They already pushing us into the every. You start to look at some of these countrysides, and you start seeing more houses being built there. And okay, it may not be a lot of companies, but there's still a big old community. And so, therefore, it's going to eventually turn into a city itself. All we got to do is build a couple buildings, a couple AT&Ts, a couple McDonald's, and it's a city now. You see what I'm saying? So it's like at this point, they want to keep us close together. That way, they know everything that we doing. And
And
so
you
I
know,
could come.
I have been looking into years ago a new way of commerce, like the barter system.
Barter
You
system.
know, if you do a barter system that's totally different from what they're doing, that is what made Black Wall Street in the first place. Working together because they were shut out of every industry and they made something from nothing. And I
But you see
believe
what
that
happened.
you
But
have to do something like that again.
and that's why I say that we still need these people who are ready to, kill somebody or put somebody down because of them stepping on their shoes. We need those people to be the front liners because the thing that happened with Black Wall Street, like, it was like we was definitely for ourselves, but we didn't mind if somebody came in and bought something of another race. It was just that we was, trying to make it better for ourselves. At this point, If you're not with us, you're against us. And so will I'll go get me some land and grow my tomatoes and birth my cows and things like that. But what's stopping them from coming in the middle of the night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and poisoning my land? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
What's stopping them from doing that? Nothing. So I could go get my own land, but they can fly a freaking plane over and drop a whole bunch of fertilizer on my shit and kill my shit the next day. You know? So it's like that
Risk.
that does that does work. The barter system does work, but it needs to be a community barter system. It can't be no
Yeah,
outside.
it's a lot of different barter systems, and you just have to study them, but they do work. Um, but Risky Opinions has some really interesting to say here, Yolanda, um, about what the historians are saying about Democrats.
So he says the historians are saying they have never seen Democrats this mad since Republicans ended slavery in the 1860s.
Well, what I have to say about that is that we were Republicans back then. We were only forced to be Democratic by force and coercion. They would threaten to kill your family if you did not change
Yep.
parties.
Big
So
facts.
that's the only reason why most Black people are Democrat today.
Big facts. Because I remember seeing some documentaries on how the black people wanted to go Republican because the Democrats were the ones who were trying to, you know, govern the people or make the people do this, that, and the other. So they was looking towards the Republicans side of things. And I also heard that the Democrats were the KKK, and I also heard that the the Democrats were definitely not for the people, ever have been for the people. And when you look at it, and when you see the actual situation, and I think I had turned Republican back when I ain't gonna say I'm full Republican, but I was like listening to the Republicans back when I want to say John Kerry or something like that. Somebody was going, and it showed me that I was old enough to understand, and it showed me that the Democrats were basically definitely trying to keep the people dependent on them. Like when you sit here and you think about, oh, they're going to take our food stamps away, they're going to take this away from us, and it's like, hold on, you don't want to go get it yourself. You want the government to give it to you. It starts showing me that the Democrats are definitely wanting the people to rely on them. Period.
Yeah,
And
I was independent for years. I never would choose sides. I was like Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Stay in the middle. Don't take sides. And
see,
but
I was
I'm
forced.
not really into
I was I was in that
politics
family.
much.
I was in that family where you couldn't come in talking about nothing else. But you're Republican. Hey, you talking Republican? You better get out of here with that mess. Like I was one of them. I was
Yeah,
in one of
see,
those
yeah, I
families.
was raised to be a Democrat. I only know what I was told. I don't know.
So it was a time where you have to like actually open up your mind and start doing the research and then understanding what these parties are about. And at this point, neither party for me. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah,
said,
I don't fool
independent.
around. I mean, it's like, they're the same, one wing on the same bird. So it's like,
Because you're still gonna see them eating dinner together. You're gonna look up and see a Republican president and a fucking Democrat
and
president
they're all friends or family. So
and talking about playing their game. Like, man, I bet I can get them to do this. Well, I bet I can get them to do that. All right, well, we're gonna see. Let's go have a debate in front of everybody and see who they choose. Like, and then it still be you, my
even
homie.
the electoral college as a whole, because it's like, okay, we're voting Democrat and Republican, and then, okay, so whoever you guys, whoever is the majority vote, we get to decide who's gonna, it's like, okay, it's a game. It's really a game.
And at the end of the day, both parties don't have to worry about these high gas prices
Nope.
or food prices because they own the farms. So why do I care about how high the food gets if I'm the one who owns 30 million cows?
They
I'm the
have
one.
their private farms. They don't eat what
That's
they're
what I'm saying.
producing.
That's what I'm saying. They don't even care about that. It doesn't affect them. They good. They the ones who making the deals with the oil people.
They
So
don't
of
have
course
no
they got.
GMO food in their personal farm.
Man,
I'm
come
I'm
on.
gonna reset and ask some of the people who wasn't here for the beginning if they have an opinion on the decision on the abortion being
Reverse
overturned, the
weight.
abortion law being overturned, because that's what we were talking about. So if you guys have an opinion, you want to come up, click on the link or just post it in the comments.
And everything that we are talking about definitely goes back to this because we are just basically talking
Yeah.
about how they're taking our rights from us and how they're doing it. So that Roe versus Wade situation is just like another chess move, if you ask me, man. So I'm hoping that people do give up their opinions or whatever because that situation right there
And
is
it
just a
shouldn't
whole.
just be women upset. It should be men too, because it's gonna be more coming. And they
I'm
have
like,
daughters, they have sisters, they have
right.
cousins, they have aunts. You
Hey,
know.
I'm looking at the next chess piece move. Honestly, I'm looking at is that me? Does that mean that men are not going to be able to get vasectomies no more?
So I want to ask you a question, Boom. It was something that we were just talking about on fan base the other night, and a lady had mentioned that she feels like when it comes to abortions that men should have a decision in that as well. How do you feel? What do you think?
I think that we definitely should. Um, I don't think that either party's decision should be Trump. Maybe more on the women, definitely on the medical side of it and the health side of it. But I do think that we should because to just take it into a little comedic form. I did see where uh, the dude Dave Chappelle was speaking on the abortion situation, and he has stated that well, if you guys decide that y'all want to keep the baby, then that means we automatically forced to be on child support if we decide that we don't want to saying be around. Now, don't get it twisted. If you lay down and you had this child, you should take care of the baby. I've always felt like that. But I do feel like automatically we have to just be forced to pay for a child that we didn't want. But then if you guys wanted it and we didn't want it, we have to be forced to pay for it. But then when you guys don't want it, we just have no say so at all. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's to me it has always been a lose situation for the men unless they actually wanted the child.
Okay,
Um
so this is my thing on it. If okay, you wouldn't be in that situation if you weren't promiscuous in the first place. So don't
correct.
lay down where you can't make a house or a home. So
True.
then
But
you're
what if I do want the
responsible
child?
for where you put your seed.
But
Okay.
what if I do want the child? So if, let's just say I do want the child. I want this child, but you still like I don't want the child. I don't
Are
have
you?
no say so.
You know what? If it's her body, and
So
I
either
don't
so
agree.
either way
I
I
agree
lose.
if
Either
you're a couple. If you're a couple, you should be working that out together, like you're married. But if there's no strings attached, if you're just shacking up and you know what I mean. But it's really the couple. But when it boils down to it, it's her body. She makes the decision. But this is one thing you need to think about, though. Most Black women do not abort their babies. Period. They take care. There's new generations now, but for the most part, since our history in this country, we have taken care of our children, regardless of the fact that we were raped, regardless whether it was we were molested by a family member or any of that.
I
We have
I had
kept our
this
children.
I had this woman that we were so supposedly so in love. Not the woman that has my children now. I only have one uh mother of my children. But I had a woman that had got pregnant by me supposedly. Of course I don't know now if it was mine, but at the time, she was telling me that it was my child or whatever. And we had sat down and we had a real deep discussion about the situation. And she had already had kids, and I guess she had, history with her kid's father about their situation. So she was really skeptic on our situation. But I was just like letting her know, like, man, I got my baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Regardless if we're gonna be together or not, I got my baby. And we had a long, deep discussion. And I ended up going to work the next day. And when I went to work the next day, I guess her friend took her to the abortion clinic. And the only reason why I found out about it is because her friend came to, my place of residence for a person I was staying with for to buy something, and she had told me the situation. Like, I'm like, yeah, I thought the girl, we gonna do our thing, we about to have this baby, la la la. She like, what? And then she told me the situation, and I'm like, hold on, like we
That's
just
not a
talked last
friend.
night.
That's not a friend.
She may not be her friend, but she may not be her friend, but at the end of the day, like she did come and tell me, and so I'm sitting here like, damn, we just talked, not even eight
So you
hours, like
talked
not
to her
even.
the night before?
Man, it was like 10 hours ago. You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
It was
then she already had the appointment because yeah, she already, you have to have an
correct.
appointment and
So
everything. So she
therefore, you
never
just say
planned
here.
the event.
So I'm crushed. You feel me? You see what I'm saying? I'm crushed now because I'm
Hmm.
like, damn, I'm really thinking I'm finna have this child with her. First off, I love her, and secondly, we about to have a baby. So now, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna really like,
What was her
step up
reason?
game up.
What was
She
her
had no
reason?
reason. Like she really had no reason. Like I'm a working man. You know what I'm
To
saying? Like,
you, it was no reason. But did you ask her what was
yeah.
her reason?
She just said
And did
she
she
didn't feel right.
honestly and openly talk to you about it?
She basically said she didn't feel right having a child at this time. She just didn't feel like she needed a child. She didn't feel like she needed any more kids. That was her whole reason. She just didn't feel like she needed no more kids, and that was that simple. But
I
we
can
have
respect that opinion. I mean,
You
because
have to
that's just
respect
like
it.
I got my tube side after the fifth. I didn't need no more.
listen. I'm not saying that I don't respect her opinion. What I'm saying is we just talked 10 hours ago. So 10 hours ago when we talked, you should have just been straight up with me, like, okay, I understand that you want to have this child, but I'm just not doing it. You see what I'm saying?
So she
But
was
there,
gonna sneak behind your back and do it, and you weren't supposed to know.
she already basically she had already had her mind made up that she was going to do the shit. And it's like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? We just had this conversation and everything was good when I went to work. Everything was good when I dropped her off at home and went to work. Everything was good. We was ha 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 la la la. And that whole time we was ha 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 la la la. You already had it made up that you was gonna do what you was gonna do regardless of what we just talked about.
Is
So
it
I'm
possible that she probably didn't want you to talk her out of it, and so that's why she didn't really like just was not upfront with you?
I mean, I'm guessing I could have been a situation because if she would have told me, like, shoot, I'm going my appointment tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, you know what I'm saying? I had worked overnight, so I didn't get off until, well, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I had to go to work. So I didn't get off until like 10:30. And so she had went and got it. She had went and got it while I was at work, basically. And so by the time I got off, I didn't even talk to her for a whole day after that. I'm calling her phone. She wouldn't answer. So she already knew that I knew. You see what I'm saying? And then she finally talked to me maybe 2 days later and told me the situation, but I had already knew, of course. But like I said, what the whole thing boils down is I didn't have no say so over what went on. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but
that's
that's the thing of it, though. But then I feel your pain, but I have to if she already had children and she didn't want any more, I have to respect that because you just have to.
I didn't even have no children at the time, so it was like for me, it
But
was
it's
like,
not the
oh,
norm,
I got a
though. That's what
baby.
I want to emphasize. It's just not the norm.
It's not. It's not. A lot of times you do see these females out here who just like, I'm having this baby regardless. If you ain't gonna take care of them, I can take care of my own baby. I've seen that, a lot of times, man. Over 90% of the time, that's what I see. Like, you ain't got to do it. I do it myself. Like, I'm gonna have my baby. This is my baby. You don't want to do nothing. This is my baby. What is it? Mama's baby, daddy's baby. You know what I'm saying? So I done seen that a lot of the times. But for the
That's
most
the
part,
history of, yeah, yeah.
but for the most
But
part,
there's
we
going to be a
definitely don't
lot
have
of
no say so.
people.
But
There's going
don't
to
you
be a
think
lot of people, a lot of women, I should say, not people, but a lot of women that this is going to hurt.
Hey, I tell you this much though. I had talked to her maybe about 4 5 years ago, and we just had a little ha 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 discussion. But it definitely had came out because she didn't end up having more kids and everything. But the statement that she had gave me was definitely, I wish I would have had your child. Like, and I mean, it's like sometimes we do things just going off our own opinion and then end up reaping it later, or sometimes we do things going off our own opinion and it'd be a good idea because who knows, you know what I'm saying? I could have been the dude to be a fuck up and she'd be happy that she didn't have a baby by me, or I could have been the dude that she felt like now she should have had the baby by me, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
But children are a lot of work. You think about all the stuff you have to train and teach them, and this is for life, So I have to respect any woman that made a decision not to. But I don't
well, she shouldn't
personally
have been
believe
messing
in
with me if
abortion.
she shouldn't have been messing with me if she felt like I wasn't gonna be that guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand what y'all saying
It's
about
not
me.
about you being the guy that works It's about her and her energy, what she knew she could give to a child, and what she could not give to a child, because that's important. She didn't. She could be a good mother that could turn abusive to children because she just couldn't handle it anymore. So I don't know. I don't know her personally, but I think women should have that their own choice.
I mean, a man could have the argument that it's their sperm, though, too.
I mean, we carried the baby longer than y'all. Big
I like to
facts.
see you carry a baby. That's all I got to say.
Listen,
The aches, the
well,
pains, and
we
all
don't
the other stuff that goes with it.
we get those too. I ain't gonna really go into that, but we get those little
No,
pains
no,
sometimes.
you don't get nothing near. You don't get nothing near.
Hey, when we overdo, that shit don't feel good. I ain't gonna lie to you. That shit don't feel good. But no, I definitely understand it all. I'm not gonna definitely compare the pain that you guys have to go through and the stress that you guys have to go through and the things that I have to go through for 10 months. You know what I'm saying? Just I mean, like, y'all strong. I can tell you that y'all definitely strong, especially if y'all do it more than once. Y'all definitely strong, mentally and physically. So I definitely respect y'all on y'all, the way y'all hold it down when y'all have these children, man. But we don't. I just don't. I don't feel like we have any say so when it comes down to a child. Like, it's just like,
And that really goes a lot to who you're picking as a partner.
correct.
Because as a couple, you should be talking these things out and working with each other. But the ultimate decision is hers.
And
That's
so,
just
so then let's take it to this situation, this Roe v. Wade situation. This is where it really is fucked up now. Because, excuse me, messed up now because um now you guys don't even have the decision. Now y'all got to keep the baby, which in return the man really don't have no rights because it's like, oh man, baby, we did this, but I really ain't, I really ain't got it to be taking care of nobody. I barely can take care of myself. And then you like, well, really can't take care of nothing either. And but the rules say we still ain't got no choice at this point. So
and
it's,
I can bet that certain people aren't going to even be able to get assistance. They might even do away with assistance at this point.
man,
But
what
we
about all the people?
this
What
is
about
still
all the people? What about all the people who had their appointments today? Because they knew they wasn't gonna be able to take care of the child, and then all of a sudden there's an overturn
Oh, that is something. Yeah, I mean, I wonder how that affected today. When does it go into effect?
today.
Probably
I'm
not
sure
today,
so
right?
it went so
What
they
today?
made the decision today and it went into effect right away.
Yep, because they was talking. I was listening to it on the news today. I was listening to the radio on the news as I was driving, and it went into effect today. Basically, Planned Parenthood had made a post where they was stopping everything here in Arizona because there was some type of law here that they had already had where there was no abortions allowed, but because the government is ruling, they couldn't put it into effect. So I don't know about any other state, but I know here they had already had the no abortion law, and they only had to go with it because the government said that it was allowed. So now I know here in Arizona it went into effect today.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm like, damn, what about the people who made their appointment yesterday or made their appointment a couple weeks ago or whatever the case may be to have it for today and to be find out that you got to be stuck with a situation that you didn't want? Like,
Yeah,
man,
that.
or even if it ain't today.
Well, I mean, there's still always adoption. I mean,
And there you go. That's
still
what I
gonna
was talking about.
what?
There's a
I
big
mean, if you
trend.
can't take care of the child or you don't want the child, that was why you was gonna abort the child. I mean, you don't want to have a baby in a situation that's not good for the baby.
Right. So then we give them to the people who we know ain't good already.
Yeah, and that's a good point that being beloved had, but because there's a lot of people in the world that don't really like children. They feel like children ruin their lives, and that you'll be miserable and poor without children, and so a lot of
So is it murder?
millennials feel like that, and I hear people in conversation say that I don't even like kids and blah blah blah, and I love kids. I always have. I've always been a babysitter of people in my family. I've taken care of their kids when they were away. Um, I love kids. Kids are a blessing. They're our ancestors coming back. And so when I hear statements like that, I go, you know what? I'm not like that. I love kids. Kids are a blessing. You can learn a lot from a little child. From they have a lot of wisdom, but people don't even recognize that because they don't value them or respect them.
Is it murder?
I don't want to label it as murder because I
They don't
mean
have a
it
heartbeat.
sometimes. Well, not just because of that, but like sometimes it's needed in certain situations. So
I don't know, man. It's scary. That's what I do know, man. I think that the choices being taken away, and like you said, you could definitely learn. I always thought that as well. Like, man, I could learn something from an 8, 9 year old. You know what I'm saying? Something that they've been looking into that I don't even want to pay no attention to. And they come and tell me, like, yeah, did you know about this? Bees do this. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't know that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you definitely can learn something from somebody younger than you or older than you. So they definitely are going to be game changers. But like you said, as far as the adoption situation, they're gonna my conspiracies. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think that they were thinking. Like, you put these kids in adoption, we have more kids to do and keep us younger. I do
And
believe.
a lot of the millennials now they want big things. Like they want the house, they want they just don't want children because they want luxury. And so
Well, if you go into that Agenda 21 situation of it, where they was talking about depopulation and all that, it definitely kind of makes sense now because when you start getting these children or these new millennials that don't want kids, they rather own and become successful. We gonna have too many successful people out here. We don't want that. You see what I'm saying? So if we can force you to
yeah.
have these kids, you can't be successful.
the
What's
way
up,
they're
Bina
doing the
Bang?
economy now, ain't nobody gonna be successful. You either rich or you gonna be poor.
Yeah,
Ain't no in between.
ain't no in between. Bina Bang just joined us.
Hello, hi everybody.
Hi.
I
Bina
just
Bina.
I'm here. I gotta get an avatar. I can't show my face, but ain't nobody showing their face.
Because this
Mm-mm.
was people was asking me to do this topic. I wasn't prepared, and so I'm like, well, I'm gonna just
Oh,
use the
okay.
avatar.
It's all good. It's all good. I just think that women, have had the rights. As far as they're head of the household, they head of the children, and unfortunately, I don't think we've been going the right way. They head of the church. No, they head of the voting. They raise their kids to be a Democrat and go vote, go to church and pray. And I don't think it's right.
Mm. Uh-oh.
Well,
Okay.
basically, if you go into our history,
He said,
our matriarchal history, that was the black woman's role in Africa, was motherhood. She was in charge of the property and all of those things, and that didn't stop because we came over here with enslavement.
No, I
well,
don't
I
think it
think you
did. I
got
And if
think
that
it
depends
wasn't
on
for
what
those
country you're talking
mothers,
about in Africa
where would
now.
we be today? Because a lot of fathers are absent and missing and not interested. So what would happen?
But
well, we
why
got to
are
go
they
into.
absent?
I'm about to say we got to go into Jim Crow when we talk about fathers being absent because the fathers is ride or
Right.
die at one point in
Why
time.
are they absent? Because personally, in my case, I've seen mothers run off the good guys and keep the creeps around. So,
Yeah, but
they
that's newer generations. Let's go back because a lot of there's been a lot of absent fathers continuously,
absent
and it
mothers and
wasn't.
absent fathers
Yeah,
and
And it
Papa was a
women
Rolling Stone.
mhm.
and women keep the children's fathers from visitation. Let's talk about that.
From what now?
Visitation.
Visitation.
Yeah, and this started with the welfare system, anyways, to kicking the fathers out of the house. Period.
It don't matter. We talking
And
about the
so
women
it just
though.
became a
We're not
trend.
talking about the system. We talking about these women
Well,
as doing
actually,
it.
the system plays a
But you
penny
can't
because they
just
allow these
you can't
women to do
separate the
this, though.
system because that's how it started. We've
Yeah,
been cultured and conditioned to do these things.
But we that don't mean we got to take accountability off the woman because of the system and the welfare, and that's what I'm saying. Democracy this Democrat life gave these women too much power, and they have
Right.
abused it. They have
Right.
abused it. Let's be
I don't
honest.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
think
you're
we
right.
have
I
too much
agree.
power, honey, in this system. But what the problem is, I think you can't say everybody, because all women are not on welfare, all women are not kicking their
Okay,
spouse
when
out.
I'm talking women, I'm saying mostly. I'm not saying all, but
Like a
most of
certain
them.
generation, maybe, or maybe, what do you think?
I mean, we starting off when they started leaving the government cheese and the milk on the porch. You see what I'm saying? So
Hello,
so
hello.
so so once the dad don't got to bring the cheese home or the milk home, you see what I'm saying? Ain't no need for him now. He if I say
Well, it
something
had
to
to
you,
start in my mother generation because I ain't seen no daddy. Where they at?
because if I say something to you crazy
So
and
it's a
you already
generation
got the
Well,
before
your mother's
before me.
mom actually had a husband who was very abusive. So let's talk about why women
What you
stopped
say?
wanting to be in abusive marriages, because they were forced into them. Like my grandmother was forced into abusive relationship, and she got tired of it and
I
couldn't
don't.
but
take
don't
it.
get it.
I don't
And that
believe. I
was
don't.
across the
My
board in
grandmother
a lot
wasn't
of
forced into no
areas.
relationship, no abusive relationship. No, they had problems like anybody else in a
But he was a
relationship.
protector, though. He
But
was.
I'm not gonna allow my grandfather to be bashed either
He
by women.
was.
Hey,
Right.
hey,
He
Right.
and
chose
don't
to.
get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. As a man, technically, publicly, we are not allowed to cry. So if you can, you
Yeah.
You cry, boom.
women can walk around and say this man put his hands on me, la la la, and we're gonna be bashed.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
let me go outside talking about, man, she putting her hands on me. I mean, recently in the last maybe 4 5 years, it's been coming to the light, men's mentality. You know what I'm saying, mental health of the men. But for the most part, let me go outside. Yeah, she putting her hands on me,
Well,
man. I
right.
can't.
Women are abusive too, and my grandmother wasn't a violet and sitting in a vase. Believe that.
So
So
if I go outside crying, talking about a woman with putting on my head, I need to man up. You understand
I'm
what I'm
not
saying?
saying women aren't abusive too, but I'm saying not all women are like that.
Verbally,
I
oh
mean, I
my
have raised
God.
my son to not to hold his emotions in and then be like a man. I allowed all of
I'm gonna
my
give my
children to
grandmother and my
express
grandfather
emotion.
credit because at least they stayed married through it all, and they had all their kids in one basket. I'm talking about most of these single women with a bunch of baby daddies, like some women, like mothers in my that raised me. Okay, and most of my cousins and all that. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and you just have to.
Personally.
I'm sorry. I just know it's a lot deeper than just to put it just on women, because
I don't
it's
I don't want to
systemic,
just
and it's control, manipulation and control. Like we've been manipulated and controlled
Yeah, that's true.
since emancipation. Because when they gave the order, when they set us free, the stipulation was for for their families to be economically viable, they had to get their women in control. Those women they had to be the head of the household, and they had to do this. We have been told how to be all along.
but that was definitely part of the
And then
game
there's
because
each generation, there's something new, some new conditioning.
but that was part of the game because when you look at that situation, okay, they want us to get our women in control, but then as a black man and we out here trying to get the jobs, they don't want to give us the jobs because of our skin color. I'm not even going to just say black men, but as a melanated person, they don't want to give you the job because of your color. But then you get this black woman the job after you give them a certain amount of rights to where they can become the dependent on themselves, and then that's how you push the man out of the situation, anyways, because you tell him the man's supposed to be a man and he's supposed to do this, and then as a man out here trying to do this, they don't want to get this man the position that he's supposed to be in to help himself. And that's how you give the woman the power because now she's more able to go and get the job and boom, she's able to take care of the things.
Right.
So
And
when we
the
talking
men
about
were a
verbal
part of the family for a long time
a long
until
time.
welfare started kicking them
Right.
till
And so now
and it
so now you
wasn't
get
just
verbal.
people going women on welfare, because they were workers. They were domestic
Yeah,
workers,
not just
because they couldn't get jobs like a secretary or anything else. When they filed for unemployment, they were refused and forced to go on welfare. And then when they were and it was a strategic move, because when
hmm
they went into welfare, then they had specifications that the man could not be in their house. And in the beginning, it was just a game. The dad was still in the house, but
but then you lose
then
everything.
eventually the girls that were born into that system of being on welfare, they started dismissing the men. So
And
who actually
especially
started all
especially if
this?
you try
Yeah, because y'all
especially if you
remember
try
that
and have a say so. If the
Claudine?
man tries to have a say so and it say something wrong, it's instantly get out. Like you ain't got nothing, you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? And this I'm not thinking about the children or nothing. It's thinking on self at this point. And
Right.
so you see what I'm saying? So now it's like, damn, what do the man go out here and do? He do something crazy trying to provide. Then he end up losing his whole life doing something crazy because he ain't had no other option. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now we really fucked up. We didn't got our men going to jail for 30 years for a nick sack of weed.
Yeah,
Like, you
and
know what I'm
who's
saying?
locking up our men anyways? Who's putting them all in prison until they get old and gray?
The president
Who's
that's in
doing that?
office now.
No, they been putting him in jail before he got in there.
But
In
no, that's
office.
what I'm saying. You got to go back to the 93 crime bill. I think it was 93 crime bill with Bill
Yeah, because
Clinton.
here in Minnesota, they started building prisons based on third grade test scores,
Mm,
and that's where they got their prison budget for them. So it was already a plan. It was a
man.
plan since my kids were little, and I was fighting in the school system for that, and I couldn't get people to help.
We just got to get off our dependency of the government, man. The men
Right.
definitely have to have more respect for the women, and the women have to have more respect for the men. And we have to get off the dependency of the government in order for us to survive. Because at this point, it looks like we are dependent on everything that the government say, all the way down to this Roe v. Wade, man. It's like the government says y'all can't have abortions. That's what we're going to do. And it's like, what the hell? Why
And
do
we
we have to
can't be
listen to them?
divided. We can't be who's in a worse situation, or we can't have these gender wars against each other because it's not the time.
It's
We
Well,
have to
definitely
come
not the time.
I
together.
would like to say that it's time for us as humans, women and men, to be better people, a person. Why are you having kids and you can't even afford it? And
Right.
you
That's
gotta
what
have all these different fathers and it's just like women, like we need to have more respect for ourselves for real. The government should make you have to have respect for yourself at the end of the day. That's something you should want to do anyway.
Hey man, look at the song they pushing now, man. I'm FREE, fuck nigga free. I'm seeing little kids singing
What?
it. I'm singing
What?
the oh, so y'all ain't seen it? Oh, so y'all haven't seen this agenda that's being pushed right now. The girl she's singing the song. I'm FREE, fuck nigga free. Y'all not seeing that?
I don't
I don't
subscribe
listen
to
to
that. I
that
don't
stuff.
listen to nothing like that. I don't listen to
Wow.
trap music. I refuse. I'm not even letting that in my ears.
Well, this is for the millennials. You see what I'm saying? So it
Oh,
probably
that's
would.
why they have the attitude. Probably they're being
Man, come
conditioned.
on.
Yeah.
Come on. That's what
Well,
I'm
they
saying.
being
So
raised by
and
these
this
single mamas. That a
and
lot of these women don't even know they don't even know who the fathers are. They got diseases. They don't know where the disease came from. They don't even know they pregnant.
man, it's
And
being pushed.
this is a result of the crack wars in the 80s.
Man, come
Babies
on.
raising babies. They was raising themselves
Come
because their mamas was
on.
on
Yeah,
crack
that's
and stuff.
true.
Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. So when you're looking at these agendas that's being pushed, if you watch a show with one of your children or your grandchildren or whatever, and you watch some Disney stuff, they don't even call each other boys and girls no more. It's them and us. You see what I'm saying? The gender is being
Yeah,
pushed.
boom. Tell them
Right.
what you wasn't that you the last on the other show when you were saying something about now when you have a child that you don't even have the right to basically say you on a birth certificate whether they're a female or a male. Was that you?
Man, yes, you don't have you have the right to put it, but they're not forcing you to make the you don't they you can force your child to say that they can call themselves what they want when they feel like it once they're old enough to feel like it. That is definitely something that is happening, and I think we were talking about that when we were talking about the boy and girl bathrooms. I think that's
Yeah,
when we were speaking on that.
yeah.
Yeah, and so that's being pushed as well. But I had seen something a long time ago, man, maybe 6 years ago. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but like some of the kids were starting to sue their parents. I know it was within the last 6 years because Facebook and Instagram has only been out for maybe 10, 15 years. And so some of the children were starting to sue the parents because they were putting their baby pictures in the public and all that. Like, so now they got to grow up and see that they've been being looked at by all these people since they were a child and they had no right to do that. And You know, they trying to get the
Well,
kids the
if it's
rights.
their baby, like just like they have the right to have a baby and all that, and the right not to abort it or abort it is their child, whether the
Uh,
child grew up and like it or don't like it.
the
You know.
government is giving the kids the rights. There is
Well,
definitely a
what about parents who kids they don't agree with their kids becoming a different gender and changing their face and their gender? A lot of parents
man. That's
don't
what I'm
agree with
saying.
that.
They're giving the kids the
Can
rights
they
at this
sue the
point.
kids? Can they sue the kids for that?
I don't think they can. I mean, we would have to do something like that. But there's a pedophilia right coming out right now where they're about to start saying that the people who do pedophile things were born like this. You see what I'm
No, you
saying?
said that kids
Oh,
are
they're
suing
trying to
their
take it away
parents
from
for
being a
pictures.
disease. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
said
they
kids are suing their parents for having their baby pictures or something out.
No, it's not that they have any baby pictures. It's like I can take pictures of you while you a baby, but when I actually post them online and get likes and
That's what
everybody
I
to see
said,
them, yeah,
having them
yeah,
out online.
correct. So
So why
there,
can a parent can't sue their kids for being a gender they don't agree with then
but you
when they
gonna
was
get out the
born?
child.
Huh?
But you gonna get out the child.
Well, if they gonna sue me, I'ma sue their ass back on something else. Shoot, that's what I'm gonna do.
I mean, hey, listen. If you get enough petition, you get enough people to sign your petition, it might work out for you. But at this point, they just looking at the point that you are. I guess it's like okay, so let's just take a little girl for instance, because a lot of dudes don't have a problem with their shirts being off. So let's just take a little girl that you take a picture of your daughter. She 2 years old in a diaper running around the house and she doing something funny and you post it online. You basically just posted her half naked online for everybody to see what she was looking like half naked.
Well, it said
Those
you
are the things
can't
they're trying to use.
post no child up like that. Now you can't. You can't even
But
do
people
that
do it.
anyway.
Hey, but people do it in
Yeah, but
diapers.
they block it. You can't do that.
Oh,
They might
okay.
do it, but they can't do it. You can't put no nudity online. What you talking about?
I don't think they consider that nudity as far as the kids
Pamper is
being.
not nudity.
Yeah, I'm
A
about to say a
pamper.
pepper. But they got a pepper on and no shirt.
No, he didn't say pamper. He said
Yeah, I
uh
said pepper. So if I
oh,
take a picture of a two year
I
old
thought you
child.
said like the child running around like okay,
Oh no,
good.
not butt naked, not actually naked to where you can
Okay.
see her butt or her private part, but like as far as her just being in a diaper and her
Well,
shirt is off.
that ain't commercials. I mean, that's not
That's what
bad.
I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. So you basically letting people see your child half naked in the public. You're giving the rights for everybody to look at
I
your child half naked.
mean,
That's
nobody
what
knows.
they're using.
All these babies look alike when they're a baby anyway. Who gonna say, "Oh, that was me"? That was
That's
me.
true. But you have all these. That's what I was saying about this pedophilia rule. Somebody just said it was a disease. I think somebody on here just
Yeah.
said.
I was saying that they're trying to take it away from being a disease because there's so many pedophiles and primarily white men
Correct.
who are of that, and they want to take it away from being a disease so that they can be free because it messes up their entire life. Like every
It's like, oh,
neighborhood they
you
go
put the
to, they have to be labeled. They have to be, you know what I mean?
I've been watching this since birth. Every pamper commercial I've seen. You know what I'm saying? La la la. That's making me like little kids. Like you guys forced it on us anyway. So this is a mental thing. This I was born like this or whatever excuse they're trying to use for it. But you know,
It's
Well,
too much scientific data to show that that's not that they weren't born that way. So
they don't give a fuck about that.
I would like to sue these damn teachers and libraries for pushing drag queen agenda to children in these books and telling kids they can polish their nails at 5 years old. You ain't doing that up in my household because I first of all I didn't get to wear no polish till I was 12, and it had to be clear or white or pearl or something. It
Come
couldn't be
on,
like
man.
red
And
and
we
blue.
damn sure ain't wearing no makeup until you get your own house.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. But the schools is telling these kids that the call them a she or he if
yeah,
they
and then and whose
gender.
system is that? The
Huh?
school system. Whose school system? Who's
Democrats, the Democrats doing it.
it's the governmental system. So
But
anytime you
who's
send your
pushing that
kid into a
agenda? Isn't it
system,
Republicans pushing it?
I don't care about the Republican Democrat thing.
But
I'm not
that's who's
into
doing it.
politics. But what I'm
That's the
saying is the
government.
school system is designed. It's a system of the government. So they're gonna do what they want to do in there.
Correct. They are going to do what they want to do, but like you said earlier, as far as the people, the culture of the people who are pushing this pedophilia law, they are also
They're
the
in
ones that
control.
they're also the ones that's pushing this gender law. Because again, like you think about it, I mean, like a person can dress up and put on a dress or whatever and say what they want to be, but as far as the people that's getting all these changes, you have to have some type of money, and that's not us down here. Us down here are taking our tax money that we get and then taking that and getting our changes, because we got to wait a whole year to go get our changes. The rich folks who are in power are the ones who started doing all these changes and stuff, and they needed the ruling to be for them, so they push that agenda in order so they can write. Because the people down here at the low places, that shit costing 12, $13,000, like, you know what I'm saying, to get your changes and shit like that. Us
You
down
know,
here, we ain't got that money.
the most changes we've had from all this protesting we've done happened during the pandemic because of those teenagers. They were rock. I mean, I was what they were really. They enacted change right away here, and I'm like, is that all we had to do to get some change?
Hey, that's the only thing I be listening. I ain't got no problem. I'm not homophobic or nothing. I respect them all. But I'm like, damn, nigga, how y'all get y'all rights quicker than us?
Right.
Y'all got
Exactly.
y'all shit way faster than us. But
Because us
it's the
getting
people
our rights doesn't benefit them. Them getting their rights does benefit them though.
because they are the ones that's doing it. They're the children. Their children had the 13,000 to spare, the 10,000 to spare to get their changes. So they need the rules to go alongside with their kids. If my child, if I'm some person in high power and my child feel like they want to get a change, I'm gonna get them to change. But guess what? The rules that's in place are not in rule for my child when my child get the change. So we got to do this type of push in order to get the rules right so my child can live right. So I really feel like it's the people higher up that has the money to do all this that pushes it, so then it becomes the normal. You see, so it's definitely systematic, man. You know, it's definitely the way that they
It's
want the rules to be good for
That's why
them.
that's what I was saying. We have to learn to maneuver around the systems, and the hard thing about it is they've been conditioning our communities for so long that nobody wants to be in unity with each other.
it's a good documentary about, it's called The Vanishing Black Family. And it's basically, this was done in 1986 and they got a couple before that and stuff. But basically it's just they're interviewing all these black girls having all these kids, and they ask them why are they doing that? Why are they not married? They say they don't want to be married. They said they mama did it. They said they doing it too.
Yeah, and
Um,
that started. Yeah, it's popular. I
And
mean,
yeah, and it's cute. And you can't, not only that, you can't really correct them. You can't say nothing about it. They gonna
no.
whoop you. They gonna sick their kids on you. And so I don't know. I feel like we do need a change. I think we do need to tighten up our society if this what we live in. I mean, we can't just say it's the system because it's really the people. It's us.
Yeah, I look at the root of everything because for every action that you see, there's a reason for it, and I try to look at that reason. And even though finding the root is not the solution, but it's a starting point to build around and maneuver around it.
It definitely has to be a starting point. It definitely has to be. It's hard to tell. I wouldn't, like I said, I have no problem with the gay community or anything, and so I'm not going to tell my kids that is wrong, and I'm not going to tell my kids that I would like for them to do it. But at the same time, I definitely don't feel like I can tell them that it's wrong if I wanted to, because like when they get a job, the manager could be part of that community. The interviewer could be part of that community. I can't have my kids just, what I'm saying, not being able to get a job because of something that I taught them was wrong. But then I'm also teaching them to go work for somebody else, which I don't want to teach them either. It's almost like a loss. Like it's a loss either way. I don't know. I don't know.
But
I,
I don't know.
yeah.
when do we as adults, when are we accountable and say, you know what, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have did this. Why can't we teach our kids better and say, be better than me. Don't do like I did. get married, have a household, have the children's father in their life. If not in the household, at least in their life.
But how do you do that? How do you
Let's
do
put
that when
I
better,
it's
did. I
better.
mean, I'm gonna say I'm not included in that because I did raise my kids a certain way, and I did defy stereotypes. I did break patterns that my family
What
had.
you say? You're not included in what?
I'm saying, no. I'm just saying. You said, why can't we raise our kids better? I'm saying I did.
But I said
everything
we like
grown?
general. You're
Yeah,
saying I. I'm saying we as
Because we
women
talking
in the
about,
community.
and we
and
also
that's
talking about kids who are growing up in this society. You see,
Yeah, in
so
the community. Yeah.
because we can talk about our kids that are over 18 or really had their own mind and didn't have to go through this situation that most of the kids are going through now. But at this point, it's
my
like
kids went through a lot, though. No, if you're black, you're gonna go through a lot. But I get
true.
what you're saying.
Because again, when you're looking at this society, it's like I can tell my kids, man, that's a boy, that's a girl. But at the end of the day, like I said,
You're breaking up.
He went out.
Put it out or something.
But I think we as women need to hold other. Well, you can't really hold nobody accountable because
Because they
you
don't
know.
want to listen.
I mean,
Not
because
only
yeah,
that,
like you said
they
earlier,
want
you're
to.
gonna get
They
cussed
get
out.
violent. They get violent,
Yeah. And they be talking about,
abusive.
I'll fight an old person, stuff like that.
They
And
get
I'm like,
abusive.
you want to fight an old person, you better know how to back it up because I know what I know how to do. So,
Yeah,
but
they get
anyway,
abusive. It's crazy, but you can't really blame a lot of these men for stepping out of the race or the community and doing what they do. You can't blame them because it is miserable to have somebody screaming and yelling and arguing with you all day and over nothing. It's too much.
yeah, I see that a lot of people have issues, but it's a lot of healing that needs to take place. It's a lot of people who need to work on healing, but a lot of people don't think they have a problem. And
That's
you can
true.
only
You're
help
right.
people
You're
who
right.
want to be helped.
You're right. And they don't. First of all, a lot of people are in denial and they don't want to believe they have a problem, and then they wonder why they are alone or they're not in a better situation than what they are.
So we who know better, like what we have, I don't know what you have in your city, but there are cultural centers, and I have been in the work, and I just, I don't know, but there are cultural centers where they have, it's like a cultural reparenting of children and teaching them our culture, teaching them how to be women, how to be good mothers, but you know what? A lot of those women had to be court ordered to go to the program.
Well, I know directly, first-hand account. Shoot, I got sisters that did the program and still did what they did right after. That don't mean nothing,
So it
you
don't
know.
see that. That's what I'm saying. They don't care.
Then even marriages are not perfect. Just like I'm married. But I tried to get my husband to go do counseling. He don't want to do it. He refuses.
A lot of men
So,
do.
huh?
A lot of men do. It's like a thing with men. Like they don't want to. A lot of men don't want to seek counseling. I think
Hmm.
it's like an ego thing or something.
no, I don't think it's ego. I think that
They've been through
is
a lot.
yeah, that. But I also think that we've been traumatized
Hmm.
and pushed into not pushing our feelings out. It's like it makes you look soft from what the public was.
Counseling is not necessarily about feelings. It's about what's causing certain issues.
And that
You
could be
know,
feelings.
huh?
And that could be feelings though.
It can be, but not necessarily. You got to at least try one session to find out what it is.
Hey, I just recently started crying probably in the last 6 7 years. When I just recently started crying, man. So almost all the way up through my whole 20s, maybe up until about 28. So I'm 35 now. So probably about 28, 27 is when I really started actually crying, like, and not crying. And I still don't. it's hard for me to cry in front of people, but I might go in the room by myself and let out a few tears, yell a little bit, you know what I'm saying, by myself. But
I think
it's
it's
just like,
healthy. I think it's
It's
healthy because tears, you have tears for a reason. It's cleansing, and the angels, God hears that, the angels come and minister to you. I believe, we're human. We've been conditioned to be so hard.
whoa,
Don't cry,
that's
get
what I'm
guns,
saying.
go
and you
shoot
know
people.
That's why we
Mothers
can talk
fighting
about
daughters and daughters
that.
fighting mamas and fathers. It's people here. It's on YouTube. Sisters killing sisters, brothers killing brothers. It's crazy.
a
It's
lot of
too.
that is yeah. It's a lot. It's really deep.
It's
It
a.
goes
It's
real
too.
deep.
It's too inhumane. Inhumanity. You know.
Right.
And as a
And
dude, now,
when you don't express your emotions, you get all of those trapped energies, and it causes health problems.
Yeah.
You have
and
to release those emotions
that,
because
and as
it
a
creates
dude,
blockages in your life from you being able to succeed in certain things. So
and as a dude
emotions
coming from where I'm
are
coming
there
from,
for a
and
reason.
I ain't the only man, but coming from where I'm coming from, the areas that I come from, like showing emotion will get you put in a certain place, like and not death or nothing, but just shit. He known for the nigga that be crying all the time, or he be showing his emotion. He emotional, and
Just
you know what I'm
because you
saying.
show
People say, "Look
emotion
at
doesn't
people."
mean you have to do it publicly all the time. I mean,
You don't have to
you
But
do
I
it
can
mean,
public.
be
if they
emotional
want to
in
cry,
your own home.
I
Huh?
feel like if they
Yeah.
want to show their emotions publicly, they should be allowed to. They shouldn't be no different from a female.
I
I
agree.
actually had a guy cry in front of me, and it was when COVID, that 2020 first hit. And what he was crying about was he was feeling like he would not have no say in his kids' lives with everything that was going on. And I didn't look at him as weak. I felt it like if you feel like you're losing control of something you brought here, of course that's going to be overwhelming and you're going to, so I didn't look at him like he was weak.
But what about when you go around your family members and you really just been out here and foot the pavement trying to find a job and you just can't, and you just really not able to provide, and you thinking that all your friends or all your family that you're around you could just go to and just be like, hey man, I'm really fucked up out here, I'm hurt, like it's hard, and all
And
they
you
telling
cry.
you, man up.
Well, I
What
feel like a
the
lot of that is part of communication. Families, we're dysfunctional. I'm gonna be straight up. My mom didn't really communicate. It was always yelling and hollering and all this. And I noticed when we were coming up, even when you talk to your sisters and brothers, you yelling. You yelling at them to get a point across. Like at some point, when you step back, like I went to school and got educated, I did better. I became better because I did. A lot of that stuff is ignorance. To be honest with you, it's just straight ignorance. And we as people in our community, we do need to get like communication skills. We do need that. I took communication classes. It helped me immensely, a lot better. But sometimes some people can't hear correct communication. Sometimes, unfortunately, some people only understand certain, type of lingo, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
that's
a
true.
lot of recycling of pain over and over and over. Same patterns over and over and over.
Yeah, recycling the pain. Yeah.
And that's why I think that it's hard for men to go get counseling, because once they go through that recycled pain, or when they go through that tyranny of what's going on in their communities, then they don't want to take it to nobody. So it's like, shit, I can't even get counseling through my
But
family. What I
that's
I
part of
don't
the
think so.
accountability at some point. You
So
gotta
now I
be,
gotta go.
there's
Now
no
I gotta go.
accountability.
So now I'm supposed to go either find some type of government assistance to help me pay, or come out my pocket, what I'm already crying about not having, to go pay for somebody to talk to give them my problem. You see what I'm saying? It's like either I got to go through the government for help so I can go find a counselor, or I got to come up with the money that I don't got, that I'm crying about not having already, and I'm telling my people that I don't got the money to go get help. Either way, I got to figure out even how to go and get this help, and I still got to go to somebody to get
That's what
this
I'm
help.
saying. We got to create our own systems and quit relying on theirs.
I
That's
tell
it.
you, I think education really helped me, and it helped me to become a better person and to choose better people to be around. Like it's just some things I'm not gonna accept from. I could see it coming now. Like I can't be your friend because I don't do what you do. I don't vibe like that.
We
Yeah.
talking about people. We talking about people's position. When you talking
But it
about
takes a
14,
level of
15,
healing inwardly. So you must have did some healing inwardly, because you only attract people to you no matter what class or what station they are in life. But if you haven't done the work inside, you're going to repeat those same people over and over. They're just going to look different.
that's
They
true.
can be
I
white,
definitely
they
had to
can
come.
be any class, they could be rich, and you'll keep drawing those same people to you unless you've done the work inside. So you must have been doing some work internally.
I definitely had to come to myself and say, hold on, time out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let me just really
Yeah.
accept some of the shit that's going on and try and understand it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Before I give it to anybody else, like, why is this like this and why is this like this? It was like, for me, it wasn't education. For me, it was more self. Like, I had to look at
Coming
myself
out
and
of denial,
yeah.
and admitting, dang, can I do this better? Can I get better in this way or something? Like, why? I don't like
It's
that.
hard. It's hard because when you 14, 15, 16 years old and you don't have the abilities to go and get this job or apartment or
Yeah.
something, you know what I'm saying, and you have to rely on the people that you're around. Like I can see when you 25,
Not
26.
really, not really. My nephew emancipated himself at 14 from his mama. The school helped him because that wasn't just gonna work. That just wasn't gonna work for him. And it
I mean,
happened.
but
He did it.
so he had to stop and look at himself and then even understand what emancipation is, because once you find that out, then you can go along with it. But shit coming out of certain areas,
I
you
think
you
he
gotta
asked
educate
for help
yourself back
through the
too.
school. I think he had to ask for help because they don't normally do stuff like that. So the
Yeah, you don't
situation
even
he was in was pretty, bad.
you might have to hear it through a movie or something. It might be a movie you watching. You be like, hold on, what they talking about emancipation? Let me go look this up. You know what I'm saying? They got to be something that gives you that, because if you're in the place or area uh, that or an environment that nobody speaks on emancipation, it will never cross your mind unless you, like you said, go educate yourself. And it might have to come from a movie, because shit, even if you in that environment who teaches, like, you know what I'm
But
saying, fuck
the
school.
point that my nephew even had to do that in the first place as a child. He's a child, you
Yeah,
know.
but you know what? Some kids are just born with innate stuff, because I grew up in abuse and I wasn't taught things. I just innately knew. And I knew that I didn't want to be like this. And so, some kids just know.
Well, I left home at 14. I was in foster
Hmm.
care. I just knew I
Hmm.
didn't like the hurt and the pain and I didn't want it no more. And it
Right,
wasn't gonna stop at home, you
right.
know. But unfortunately in these single parent households, sometimes like you said, what's your name? The brother speaking?
Boom.
Boomer,
Huh?
boom,
Oh, this Boom. Hey, Boom.
boom.
But
Hey,
unfortunately, in these single parent households, especially these single mamas, they bring these men who are always younger than them, around the daughter's ages, and all this crazy stuff. You don't have a choice. Some of these kids don't have a choice. They be having little kids smoking weed. Come on now. Yeah, what you
Hmm.
right.
think they gonna grow up and do? They got guns and all that. What you think they gonna do? They in jail before they 12. So,
Hey, I had to look at my mom's situation. I used to blame my mom a lot, man. I probably just recently, maybe 32, 31. I had to recently stop blaming my mom for my situations, because I'm like, she could have did this, she could have did that. Yeah, I'm a grown man, I'm doing this, that, and the other, but I could be in a better position if she would have do this and did that. But I really had to even sit down and think about her situation. Shit, my mom didn't have her mama. My mom had, you know what I'm saying, and I known this. You know what I'm saying? That's what's even more crazy, is the fact that I knew that my grandmother gave my mom up and put her with my great grandmother. You know what I'm saying? Had my great grandmother taking care of my mom. But
but
me
that
being,
means she had a positive role model if your great grandmama stepped in now.
I won't say that my
It
great
ain't some
grandmother was my
like
great
hold on,
grandmother.
because some of these mamas ain't even got an excuse. Some of them ain't got no
They don't.
excuse.
They don't. But see, my great grandmother, you know what I'm saying, she had that because my great grandmother, she was born in 1901 or excuse me, 1905. So, you know, her mom and her grandma was probably like either slaves or definitely
My grandmother was born in like that around that before 1922. So yeah, but
she got that
a
so
lot
she
of
had
women ain't got no excuse. It took me going into foster care for my mama to even figure out she was doing something wrong. She had to humble herself. See,
well,
that's
I
how
wouldn't say that my
you
mom
get
was
it.
doing anything wrong. I'm gonna just say that it was just the fact that by my mother not even being able to have her own mom, which means she wasn't even taught how to be a mom other than by a grandmother, who knows what her thoughts was on being the mother. You know what I'm saying? Because her mom's not around. So now she got to be a mom and she don't even know how to be a mom. That's like me right now. I'm trying to do the things that I think or tell my kids or what I think is right. You know what I'm saying? But I never had a dad. So I don't really know how to be a father. The only
Yeah,
reason
but
I know
you
how
have
to
to
be
be the person you wanted to have as the son, as a father. So you be
but that
that
don't mean it
person
is right.
for
That
your
don't
children.
even if that's that even if that's the if I want my son to be better than me, that doesn't mean that I'm still going to teach him the necessities of life of how to be a man.
But
Because
that
again, I'm
that
still
comes with
raising myself.
mentorship too. You got to be around those fathers that you want to be emulate also,
Right.
so that you
Correct.
can
So
get the
what about
correct
all the
guidance.
fathers that I'm so all the fathers that I'm around who selling dope and you know what I'm saying, doing all this shit, I'm telling my kids I don't want you to sell dope. But what can I actually give them other than
Yeah.
not selling dope, not having been that person or been around those people who
But
actually
that's
have
what I was
values?
talking
And
about when I got education, is because it allowed me to learn how to eliminate certain things out of my life, and those people I can't be their friend. It ain't that I don't like them or nothing. I like them just fine. I just can't do what they do.
you
But now
So
know,
you
a
gotta
lot of
figure out
people
but now
think
you gotta figure out what's
parenting
right. You
comes
gotta figure out what's
easy.
right.
You have to get child development. You have to learn how to be a parent. Take child development classes. Even if you
Okay.
have them, take child development. Know what your children are going through at different stages. And it's less about gender being a man, it's more about the content of your character.
yeah.
Are you what are your moral values? What, those are the things you want to pass on to your son, not any machoism. This is what a man is. No, it's about being a human being with a good quality to your character. And that
Well,
if you teach him that, he's going to be a fine man.
that's what I'm about to say. Because what I done came up with, as far as being a father personally, what I done came up with is right and wrong. That's like the whole main thing that I done came up with as far as being a parent. Like as far as teaching my sons and teaching my daughters. Like at this point, is right or wrong. Like if you know that it's wrong, you shouldn't be doing it. Like you know what I'm saying. Period. Like whatever it is that you're going to do, if it's wrong, just don't do it. Like I can't really give you
But I think
two.
it's more than just saying don't do it. I mean, I was taught, oh, don't do this, don't do that first.
Example,
That's
yeah.
not enough. That's not
It's not
enough.
about
You
that
It's
gotta
like
again.
being
kind
a
of like,
saying, you need an example to see and emulate.
yeah, you gotta also people need to be explained about consequences. Certain consequences, what consequences can cause. People gotta be
Correct.
able to
Correct.
see that and know
Outcome.
that. You know.
Outcomes. I do give them outcomes. I do give my children outcomes as far as
Mhm.
looking. And I already, what I'm saying, talk to my kids about sex, even though they're a young age. But at this point, they already learning it through,
I
what I'm
think you're
saying.
doing better than most, and I think you're doing more than what you think you are. I think they learning from you. I think you doing a good job. I'm pretty sure. They
Yeah,
learning a lot from you.
I
You need
think
more
so too. But at the
confidence in
same
yourself
time,
because it's not about gender. It's more
I'm still
about being
seeing
a
shit though.
human being.
I'm still seeing shit like one of my children. I've already with them went through their phone and seen some of their search history, and it's like, damn, I gotta take the phone away from them because the things they looking up is like, what are you looking this up for? Like, we done had this discussion, like, what I'm saying. But the problem is, again, is I can stop it at home, but then when they go to school, it's right there in their face. All their friends is showing them shit. All their friends is showing them new shit. Like, so it's like at this point, I'm just being a person. I'm just
But you can
basically,
block that stuff out their phone. And another thing,
yeah, I can
you
even
doing
take them.
something that most parents don't do. I'll be the police too. I have cameras and everything up in my house when it
But
comes
this
to
is
this. You know,
But
Tina,
look,
you
you
I
can
can't
used
do
to
that,
pick
but
up the
guess what?
phone when they
These
had
kids are
house phones. I
smart.
used to pick up the phone and listen in on my daughter's phone conversations, but I had a social worker tell me that I was invading her privacy, and I felt like how when I pay all the fucking mortgage and the bills here, I can do this, I pay everything.
And you
You
right.
don't
want
got
to
no
keep her
privacy. This is
safe.
my house.
And that's what I'm saying. So Miss Bina, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when you sit here and you block everything on your child's phone, or you take your child's phone
Oh,
stuff
I
away
go to,
from them?
oh, I'll
You know,
sit, I'll be that
listen, hold
parent
on,
sitting up in the class, okay, with
listen
your
to me right
ass.
quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Just,
sit there and I'm gonna
just
make
listen
sure
to me.
I'm gonna say hi to all your friends, all these people who you around, and I'm gonna say, I want to meet your
Listen,
mom when I'm gonna meet your parent. That's what
listen,
I'm
that's
gonna do.
cool.
You
I
know what? You
understand
can
that, but
block
what
the
you
I'm a
gonna
phone,
run.
but
do?
these kids these days know how to reprogram stuff, and they
Right.
can
What you gonna
program them
do?
so that those blocks are removed.
That's cool.
Get
But
an
what you gonna
Obama
do?
phone. It's called get an
Ah,
Obama phone.
Only
But
if you
And
listen,
need
you
to
Obama
pay
phone,
call
$30
an
phone.
emergency.
Obama
Matter of
phone.
fact, it's called get a flip phone for your
I was
ass
about to
when you
say
get
because
older. I'm
Obama
gonna take
phone
that
definitely
phone and
comes.
get the flip phone.
Obama phone definitely comes with the apps, but this is what I'm saying though. What you gonna do when you restrict all that stuff from your child, but then when they go to school with my child and I ain't restricted shit, and now my
Yeah.
child
yeah.
with
Right.
Yeah,
the phone.
long as I'm teaching mine right, that's all I care about.
But
I'm
again,
gonna
you're
be
teaching them right,
accountable
but
for what I
you,
teach my child, and they know better. When you know
you
better, you
teach
got
them
to
right,
do better, and
you
that's
teach
gonna
them
carry
right, but
on
you
further than
could, but
right now. Then this year, then next
it's
year.
One mic.
it's also going to carry on resentment because I have to teach my children why it's not cool, but at the same time give them that that coolness of a parent because when they go to school because I done took these things away, they're gonna be more prone to wanting to know more about it. Like so when they friends do pull up with the iPhone or with the Android that they got with no restrictions, they like, oh, let me see, let me watch, let me see, because my
Well,
daddy
I
won't let
think
me
at
tell
that
me this is
point
wrong.
you should be able to go to in front of the class. You should get some kind of authorization to speak on that to the kids because they all should know. And
So
they're
I
gonna
gotta
be
call
like,
off work.
don't mess with Joseph over there because his daddy gonna come up here. Don't talk to him. Don't show him nothing on your phone because his daddy gonna come and they
Now,
gonna
and
Ain't
now
sit
gonna
on
what?
the
And
stop.
now
TV.
what?
It's not gonna
Now
stop.
I got a child. Now I got a child with an attitude walking around the house, and I got to check every goddamn day, all goddamn day, because I done made him the bad apple in the bunch because he can't do nothing. Now he getting teased and picked on at school
Too
where she
bad.
getting.
Too bad. So sad. Now you glad. Good. That's too bad.
So hopefully, so now I got to hope that in the future my child understand.
I don't
Or
feel
what's
sorry.
gonna end up
I'm
happening?
sorry. I don't feel sorry. No, I don't because they need it. They need it. You
But
doing the best.
what I'm saying is, then what ends up happening is because I didn't give them the consequences or understandings of what can happen from this. Once they get older and they finally free, they gonna do every motherfucking thing in the book. So it's best for me to just show them this shit. Like, look, this is what it is. This is the outcomes. You can get pregnant. You can get this STD. You can get that STD. You can catch this. You can catch that. But at the end of the day, this is why you should and why you shouldn't do it. Because if I don't, then they gonna go out here and catch every STD in the book because I done took and kept everything away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No,
what
that
I found that
they do
worked for
gotta
me,
learn.
what worked
They
for me
they
is
do
I
gotta
had to
learn.
have regular weekly family meetings, and I talked about everything. Shoot, I showed them what every STD in the book looked like. They were so. I mean, I used those shock tactics. I showed them STDs. I talked about sex. I did every week they had to be there, and I
But
had
you
to
know what?
explain
You
it.
can teach
That
them
worked for
that.
me,
They probably don't have
but
it,
they
but
didn't
that
have
don't mean
to.
the person they with ain't gonna have it. And you can do
Right.
your best.
But I
You
mean,
can
I
do your
taught them how
best.
to
You
protect
know what to look for
themselves.
when you about to mess with this person as well, though.
I
Man,
mean,
All you got to
this
do is
world
buck, my
wicked.
brother.
The world is wicked, but I feel like you're doing your job if you making an effort and you teach. I didn't get taught nothing like that. My mom ain't never heard of no disease like that or talked to us about no disease. AIDS came out. I was 18 years old already, and I was already gone by 14. It was up on me to protect my own self at that point.
That point, yeah.
She says
Well,
teach your kids right from wrong is good is good per pressure. Oh, peer pressure is
free
something
pressure.
at school trying to be friends and being made fun of. Kids like to be liked.
Yeah, it's hard to tell a kid to go to school and only have associates. Like these ain't your friends. These ain't your friends.
Well, you got to make sure you raising a leader and let them know you being a follower when you do everything that everybody else do.
Well, I
Man,
mean,
they
that's
not gonna
easier said
hear
than
that
done. 'Cause
shit.
my mom used to tell me people wasn't my friend. I still chose to be their friends anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to
Learn the
say. They
hard
not
way.
gonna hear that shit. They gonna still have to go through it, but it's got to be somewhere in the back of their mind where it's like, well, my dad or my mom did tell me. That's how I look
Yeah,
at it. Like,
yeah, and they won't do it again. It might happen, but they gonna know. Well, I was taught. I do know better because I did know better, but I ain't going through this no more.
correct, correct. They still gonna have to go through it, man. I do want to say shout out to the women, man. I hope that this situation doesn't affect y'all too much. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the new generation of millennials, man, because
Yeah.
y'all been forced to keep these kids, and that's definitely taking away y'all rights, man. So shout out to y'all. Y'all always been strong, and I hope that y'all continue being strong through this, man, because this is definitely a fucked up, messed up situation. Excuse me. So I
Yeah,
just wanted to throw that
I
in
know.
there.
I worry about what my grandkids are gonna have to go through these days. So when they get grown,
Man, and it's like they not
I
going
don't think
the
it's a bad
newer kids.
situation for women because I don't think you should be resorting to certain things like that anyway in the first
Women,
place.
Are
we
you
gotta
talking
go out the
about
box with
abortion?
it.
Huh?
Are you talking about abortion?
Yeah.
So you don't think
Well,
it's a bad thing that they stopped it? Is that what you're saying?
Well, unfortunately, like I know too many women that have 4 abortions. You know what I'm saying? Like they use it like a birth control or something. That ain't right.
so abusing it, yes, that's some bullshit. To abuse it, you out here laying around with people, that's definitely some bullshit. If you want to resort to abortion clinics and stuff like that, and then
Yeah, that
expect
ain't cool.
expecting the man that you even been with to, you know what I'm saying, to even do the abortion, but or pay for the abortion. But I will say that at this point, man, we got too many freaky ass, nasty ass uncles and cousins out here who like to touch on their little cousins, or like to
I
touch on their
agree,
family.
but that's the mama. The mom when you tell a mom and they don't want to believe it, then the girl got to go run away.
We talking about children. We talking about children. But we also talking about grown women. These grown women are being raped by their uncles still. These grown women are being touched by their first
Well,
cousins.
at some point, when you can walk and run and walk away and run away, it's your own fault at that point.
I don't
Nah, I
want to
can't
say
say
that
that,
because
man.
a woman can't whoop a man, and if he putting force on there and getting her in a situation that's hard to
Man,
get
you
out
know
of,
what
it's
I'm saying?
You
not her
said
fault.
adults are getting raped by their uncles. Did you just say adults?
Yeah,
I
dog.
think a lot of us need to be teaching our sons better behavior at home,
Yeah, but
and not
he
the
right.
boys
He
will be
is right.
boys thing.
A lot of these women don't want to believe their brothers and stuff is doing stuff like that.
That's
That's
what I
true.
was about to say. Brothers are doing it as grown ages. Like we talking about a 25-year-old brother and a 23-year-old sister. Listen.
That's what I said. That's what I asked you.
Look.
At that point, it's your own fault. That's what I'm talking about. If you
That's
23
cool. Listen,
and somebody
listen.
doing that to you, it's time to go to the police and get that rape kit done and get that
That's
DNA
cool, but
pack done.
you still got the baby in you, and you cannot get it aborted. Is what I'm saying. So
I
what I'm
said, if you getting raped, it's time to go to the hospital and get the damn rape kit done with that
That's
DNA and
cool.
put some
And he can go,
cuffs
listen, and he
on.
can still go to jail. That's cool. He still can go to jail and be put under the
But
jail or
then she
whatever.
still
But you
gotta
still
have a
got that
baby if
baby.
the baby
You
if
see
the
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Listen,
No,
I
if you
just,
go to the hospital and you're accountable doing what you're supposed to do, if you done
no,
got raped,
no,
you're not gonna have a baby because they're
no.
gonna give you that plan B.
That's
If you're doing
not
it
No,
that
true.
they
way.
just took.
if the
They
state
That's
just said
if
that
true.
the
you can't
state
have
allows you
abortions now.
to. If the
No,
Yeah,
state
no. If you getting raped, and if you getting raped, you supposed to go
that's
to the
true.
hospital and
They
get
said
that
it
rape
True.
don't
kit done.
matter.
It
Huh?
doesn't matter at this
It
point.
doesn't matter the
The Roe
situation.
v. Wade, it doesn't matter the situation. Only way that you can get it
Well,
taken out of you is
I'm
if it's
just now
if
finding
it's-
DNA to my uncle. I got an uncle. I just found I could be a rape baby. I don't know. It wasn't
but
no
what I'm saying, but
abortions.
what we
Wasn't
saying,
no
Miss Peter,
abortions when I
listen.
was born.
But what we saying
I
right now, Miss
don't
Bina,
know.
is that none
My
of
mother
that.
act like she didn't know his name. It could have been any damn body. We don't
But
know.
listen, Miss Bina, what we're saying right now, at this point, it doesn't matter the situation unless your life is involved. So if you're about to die from having this baby, then they can abort it. Other than
Well,
that,
I
like let's say
understand that if you don't carry the baby that long, but I'm talking about in the case of rape,
that
within 24
they
hours, you're
don't
supposed to take
So
care.
it's
them,
the
That's
send
what
your
doctor's
ass to the
decision. In
hospital
some
and get
states,
that
it's the
rape DNA
doctor who
test
makes that
done. That's what I'm
decision.
talking about.
But that's your personal opinion. The law right now is the doctor's decision. It doesn't matter what the reason is. You can go in here and say, oh, somebody touched you or you was raped, pull out the rape kit and they see it. That's not going to change their facts on you being able to get an abortion. There is no abortions
No,
allowed.
if you are raped, sorry, excuse me, I'm a nurse. You go to the hospital, they do that rape kit on you. You getting, first of all, they're gonna give you some drug therapy and make sure you ain't got no STDs and HIV contracted, and then you got to go back and get your test done in 6 weeks. And before you leave, they're gonna make you not make you, but they're gonna make sure you have, you'll take the Plan B or whatever medicine they had to make sure you don't get impregnated if you handling your business. If you're
So,
about
Bina,
to right
this is
mind,
a
wait,
question
let
I
me
have
finish
for you, though,
before you
since
cut
you're a
me off.
nurse.
If you're
As
about
of
to right
today,
mind and you being accountable as your own self, but if you about that life and you around them type of people, then you doing what they doing, then yeah, anything can happen. You're right.
so Bina, as
But
of
this is as of
today, how
today.
does that affect the nurse? Like if you get raped
What you say?
today, now that they passed this, now that this overturned in certain states, like the state you're in, if you were raped today at your hospital, will they do the same technique now,
It's
or is it going
as
to be
far as I know,
effective
that's in every hospital, the rape kits. But
But
I
we're
don't
talking about today. See, we're talking about the
as
Roe
of
v. Wade
today?
situation today. As of today, we're not talking about last week. We're not talking about last month or last year. That's
I'm talking
understandable.
about today.
Today, they just overturned the ruling saying that there are no more abortions allowed. You cannot get an abortion for no reason unless you are. It has something to do with your health, and you could possibly die from it. That's the only way you can get an abortion. If you got raped, no abortion. If you're being touched on, or if you just had a baby, no abortion. That has taken effect today.
Well, I know a lot of rape babies born every day. I do know that. So
Correct, but we're talking about today. As far as today is, you don't have no choice. Listen, there was a story. A girl put up a story speaking on how her father had did like 30 years in prison. When he came home, he raped her. You see what I'm saying? He raped her.
yeah,
This is her father.
I've been in foster care with women, with girls like that, where that happened. The mama let it
So,
go
so,
down.
so as of today,
All that. I've been
so,
around all
so,
of
so
that.
let's say,
All them
so
type of
today's Friday.
women.
So,
Been
so,
through
so, so today is Friday. Let's say Monday, one of these 25-year-old girls' father gets out of prison. This nigga gets out of prison, he comes home and he rapes her and impregnates her. She cannot abort her son/brother or daughter.
Well, the the Democrats want and the Republicans want y'all to populate the earth. So get busy.
but
I ain't getting. I'm done. I was done 22 years ago.
So rape ain't gonna benefit you no way, then.
rape ain't gonna benefit nobody at this point. I would hate to be a rape baby, but a
Well,
rape ain't gonna benefit nobody.
unfortunately, that's how this earth done got popped. God said, "Go and multiply your seed." Whether not, He didn't tell you how or whatever, and to be married, He
Shit,
said, "Go multiply your seed." And unfortunately, some women had to do it like that.
he definitely had a problem with Sodom and Gomorrah when he was doing
I'm
it.
gonna be realistic, because I'm in this world, I'm in the earth, and I see what it is. So
I do too, man. But I just don't feel like nobody should have to have a child just under any circumstances. Like I
it's
feel like
time to buckle up. It's time to have families. This is good because it's just time for women to tighten down and stop doing what they doing out here, all willy nilly, all high, drunk, and don't know what the
that's
hell happened.
I agree with you 100% on that side of it. As far as
Yeah,
just
but
being
then
out
you
here,
gotta look at the other
I
side.
agree with you. But I'm looking at the other side of it as far as women being forced to have a child through a
I think
situation.
we need to
Only
have
thing I
families.
see
I
bad is
think we
this.
need men in the household. I'm sorry. We need our brothers in these households, in the community, period. We need that. I don't think women should be running this fucking families and all this. They ain't been making good choices. And as
Hey,
far as huh?
have you heard of the 45-second rule for women?
No, what I don't know what is. I probably heard of, but don't know the name of it. What is?
So the 45 second rule for women is basically, when you go get in your car, you need to be done pulled off in 45 seconds. So if you stop and get your mail, don't sit there and read it. If you get in your car and you going through your phone, you need to be pulling off in 45 seconds because there is probably some most sadistic ass man sitting there watching you. And if you sitting there, he gonna
Well, I'm
maybe
in
even
California where they do that. Do jacking off in front of the classes and all kind of crazy stuff out here. It happens. Police
that's what
do
I'm
it too.
saying. So at the end of the
Police
day, we talking
raping.
about you
Wait a
just
minute.
sitting there reading
Police
your mail.
raping women in the police cars too. What you talking about?
Londa just had a whole a show about that the other day about the police officer raping women. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like at this point, that woman is supposed to be forced to keep this baby if she get pregnant.
Well, I think if it happened, that the government gonna compensate. Since everybody want this government running everything, and we don't let it go this far, let the government go on and take care of the baby then.
So you saying it?
Or
So
put
you saying
yourself
that if
in a
it's a proven
position,
rape?
go to
So
school,
you saying that if it's a
get
proven
some
rape?
kind of skill, and try to live in a gated, build a wall around your house. That's the only way you're gonna be able to protect yourself and anonymity out here.
Man, that
You
There's
costs.
got
a
to
But
little
build a
thing
wall.
called a gun.
so you saying that if it's a proven
Come,
rape, that the government,
it's
you
called
saying
build
that if
a
it's a proven
wall
rape, then the government can compensate.
and get you a dang on peace. Get a peace, be still, and sit and sleep with it.
And get those, you could get those rape things where with the claws and put them
Oh,
in
so when
that.
they
Yeah,
And
did,
I don't know what it's called. I can't remember.
put
I
a
know
chance
exactly what you're talking about.
So if
somebody
they try to
gonna
rape
make
you,
some
they
money
gonna
because
get
they gonna
messed
put a
up.
trap. They gonna put a trap down on your cootie cat. So when they try to put it in, they
Man,
get
y'all
it
women
get
are
cut it
so
off. It'll
fucking.
cut it off.
Y'all women are so strong. Y'all gotta
I'm talking
look
about
at
the
everything that
custody
y'all
bill.
gotta go through.
Yeah, let it cut it off. Put it on your daughter.
Yeah.
So if somebody
Hey,
come at your daughter, let it cut it
I
off.
really feel for, I really feel for the women because y'all gotta go through so many jumps and ropes just to be able to fucking live,
We
man.
gonna be like put the hijab on their face, cover your face, cut out some eye holes, and cover their body up so can't nobody see them.
A lot of this behavior is because these boys grow up and they are not taught proper etiquette. When I was I'm not high school, junior high, when we went to middle school, boys pulling, snapping with girls' bras, hitting them on their butts, and I said, you know what? I'm not gonna go through this. So I got my friends together, and we decided we was gonna put an end to that. And so we would get a pass. We all meet up together and we catch one boy at a time. And we would punch him, we would beat him up and say, you better not put your hands on our butts. You better not snap our bra. Do you know they did not mess with us?
I like that, and that was
But
cool.
they
But that's
sure mess
game
with
play. Cause
everybody else.
do you know, girl, it was kids getting caught under the bleachers having sex and all kind of stuff. So snapping a bra and patting on a butt.
Hey, it
That
started. That's where it
I
started.
don't think you want it. You don't like it. Yeah, I agree. But I think that's better than having sex under the bleachers in the bathroom
Well,
and all that crazy stuff.
I don't condone that behavior, and I put into it myself with me and my friends, and we were not bothered. They did not touch us, but it could have been avoided had they had the, like, what I do like about school now is that they have policies in place to prevent boys doing that now.
Yeah. But what about I know when I was in school, it was girls in class 14 pregnant by the stepfathers and all this crazy stuff. So
That wasn't heard of when I was in school. Like, I was in high school and one girl got pregnant. It wasn't the norm, and she ended up going to a school for
well,
girls who were
that
pregnant.
documentary that's out, it was around your time you was in high school and
You
them
don't
girls
know when
was
I was
pregnant.
in high school, though, do you?
Huh?
You don't know when I was in high school.
It was I'm sure it was in when was it, the 80s?
I no, I was grown in the '80s, so you don't know when I was in school.
Well, that documentary still show all them girls having been pregnant and stuff
And
in the
you that
70s
must
and
not
late
have, that was
70s,
in a
early
state
80s.
like with New York, but we're in Minnesota. That was not the norm when I went to school, in high
Uh,
school. So it depends on where you're located at, like New York, all those big cities.
well,
Yeah,
I
they
know it was
probably
the
have that.
norm in Gary, Indiana. And East St. Louis, I know that.
Yeah, but it's a trip what you have to go through as
Well, I
a
know it was the
female.
north in Indiana and East St. Louis. I know that. That's
You know,
some reverb.
back then a lot of when a lot of girls got pregnant, they hid it. They took them out of school, they moved them out of state, sent them out to
Yep.
girls' homes and stuff like that. That's why you didn't really know about it.
Yeah, because it wasn't the norm. Like the one girl, because we knew everybody, and she got pregnant and went to a girls' school just for girls who were pregnant. So they weren't they weren't allowed to go to school pregnant.
And a lot of them, they were made to get those babies up too.
Really?
Back then,
Right.
yeah, they wasn't allowed to have babies like that.
So I just wanted to share this with y'all right quick, man. I just wanted y'all to see. First off, if you look closely right there where it say Hit Kid and Gorilla FNF, let's go. If you look right under that to the left, it says 19,259,966 views, 304,000 likes. Now, don't get it twisted. You can definitely pay for views and likes, but that is a lot of views and likes, like, right? So I just wanted to play this. And I'm not gonna play the whole thing, even though it's only 2 minutes and 33 seconds long. But I definitely just want y'all to see. And this is just the actual video. Now, as far as the trends that's going around, and you know what I'm saying, the things that the people are putting out in the air, the dances that's going to this for the kids to see and all that, that's a whole nother story. But as far as this actual song, I just want y'all to see the song that the kids are being able to listen to, or the dances that they're doing. I just want y'all to hear like a little bit of this song right quick, so y'all can get a gist of what the millennials are going through right now. So just check this out right quick.
Wow.
You know, I'm F-R-E-E, fuck nigga free. That mean I ain't gotta worry about no fuck nigga cheat. And I'm S-I-N-G-L-E again. Outside hanging out the window with my ratchet ass friends. I'm F-R-E.
Wow.
Play that song, Throw Baby. You see that?
So, baby, you talking about
Throw Baby.
but that's what I'm saying though. That's what they're.
Why,
That's what,
look, boom, boom. Why you put Cardi B on there like that? You know that was Cardi B back in her day.
that wasn't Cardi B, but that was a part of the movement, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's Cardi B. That's another Cardi B. Come on.
That's all it is, man. But I mean, look at the views, and then if you just go on to like a little TikTok where all the kids like to be at, because you know recently grown people have just started getting on the TikToks. Excuse me, but mainly TikTok was for the younger crowd. And if you go on TikTok and you just type in FNF, you know what I'm saying, you're going to see so many people and so many children, females. I mean, because now men are starting to like remake the song and say, you know, different things, like trying to change up the song and change up the movement. But for the most part, you're seeing little girls and young girls sing this song talking about fuck nigga free and all this other stuff. And it's like they asking for respect from men and things like that. But this is what's being pushed. And that was 19 million.
I mean, but look at all this crazy rap, all this trap music. You talking about them girls. What about them boys?
But you're right. As far as the boys putting out trap music, that's forcing dudes to go out here, you know what I'm saying, and be players and all this and all that. But I'm looking at the fact that the females have always been in control.
They probably already baby mamas
How
already.
you saying the females in control?
But boom, that the females out here that young doing that has to start from home. So that must mean like the moms now, like our moms back then wasn't telling them like that's how to carry themselves as a young girl. Like I probably
that
slept out of me saying that I was ratchet.
That's true. That's true. That's true. But at the same time, we also got to give it to the dudes, because you got these females out here who was loyal and down for their men, and then the dudes out here doing this, that, and the other, which in return make a female feel like fuck that nigga, I'm fuck nigga free, like, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I always felt like the women always had the power, because most of the time, unless the
That's
man,
what Young Gunna sing, and T9, 6ix9ine, they sing all that type of stuff. Booty
we don't
pussy,
listen. We don't listen to
Lil
6ix9ine.
Wayne. They say they like prostitute. Matter of fact, I like that song. He say he still love a prostitute. Hey, they been singing that. That ain't new.
But that's why the women have the power. Listen, when dudes started fucking figuring out they can give a woman $40, you know what I'm saying, for a night of fun, you know, and that $40 trend started going around, it was like, damn, niggas
Or
just feel like
blunt some Popeyes.
You see what I'm saying? And so at this point, that's why the women have the power, because they don't have to accept that. So if y'all are making it public that it's being accepted, then that's what the men are going to go for. This is what I want. This is what I want. And as long as the women accept it, then they're going to keep on. So instead of y'all accepting $40, I should have been like, no, nigga, fuck your $40, nigga. I need $500. You see what I'm saying? So then the men have to go out here and work. But not only do you need $500, you need that $500 to come from an actual check, not because you
boom, boom.
So
you know these some ghetto gaggers, ghetto gutter slut babies out here. You know what it is.
I understand, and that's what I'm saying. I understand it. So that's my point that I'm trying to make. It's
That
like,
little girl had weave down on her knees and didn't look right. She didn't care.
Hey, listen, she ain't even my type, because I like big women. So it's not even my type. But we talking about the
She looked like she done already had a baby or two too.
Man, she looked like she done hit a couple crack rocks, if you ask me, but that's
right, all of it.
That's a whole nother story on my case. Like I said, I like healthy women. I like healthy women. You feel me? So, but my kids, even if I take their phones away when they go to school, they're gonna be seeing the kids do the dances. They're gonna be seeing this shit. They're gonna want to be a part of that. Oh, I want to do the dance. Oh, I like the song. I like the beat.
No, they gotta be around other kids who wouldn't like that. Who would be like, "Ugh, I wouldn't want no girlfriend like that. I don't want my friend doing that." It's kids out here like that.
Yeah, but it starts from home. What they're taught at home.
It's every 5 to 100. So I got to figure out how to get my programs. I got to figure out how to get my kids to be cool with the which is like I always tell my kids, man. I wish I was cool with the nerds. Like, you know, when people was calling
yeah,
people
nerds, yeah,
they don't even have to be nerds. Like, I sign my kids up every summer, like with the gym program at the University of Minnesota. They have a program where they get paid. They learn how to structure businesses. There's other kids that look like them, that are from families that are trying to keep them in a positive environment. And so you put them in programs like that. So they make
chess. Okay, that's now chess club. You got to take your kids to Aruba on them vacations so they can be around them nerdy kids like that. Mm-hmm. But chess club, them clubs that make them use their brain, their mind. Spelling bees, get them into them spelling bees, and they can get money doing it too.
And they have program. Even people who don't have money could do that. Like Professor El Kati always has programs going on every summer, and you don't have to have a lot of money. You can go to a lot of those things.
They take your kids to Africa and all kind of stuff. Or put them in jail for the weekend. That'll teach them.
Well, they got that Scared Straight program. It doesn't help because they know that them people really can't touch them.
Well, shit, I went to jail for 2 weeks as a detention, and I ain't like it, and I ain't been back since. And I was 18. I was 18 or something, 17.
Yeah, that teach you that babies.
L-E-T, outside hanging out the window with my ratchet ass friend. I'm
Wow.
Where her blunt at? Where her blunt at?
Not where her blunt at.
Where a cigarette at?
For real, it ain't funny, but dang.
You see that one video, that little boy, they gave him a blunt, had him smoking it.
Wow.
The
It
mama went
was
to
that
jail.
one video that was floating around on Facebook for the longest. I think the boy was like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Breaking down a blunt, rolling it, and I don't get that.
And
those
then they
are
had,
the kids your kids might go to school with.
and
But
they had
it's all about what you teach your kids at home, though.
Yep. I that ain't gonna happen with mine. But look, they had one. He had smoking a blunt, had a gold chain on him, had a ring in his ear, earring in his ear.
Boom, you still with us?
You got awfully quiet.
Yeah, can y'all hear me? My bad. My mic was on mute the whole time. I was trying not to put no feedback. But yeah, it's definitely it's definitely crazy. I'm gonna throw this one up here for y'all too, since y'all speaking on the little boy smoking the blunt. Throw this up here for y'all. He said, I went to jail for 15. I said, it was not for me.
Me
Right?
too. It wasn't for me. And then I went to jail at 26, and that shit wasn't for me either.
Man, I probably did 30 days. I probably did 30 days max in jail. That's 2 days, 4 days, 5 days here. That's about it for me. Hold on, throw this one up real quick, Miss Londa. If you see it down there at the bottom. You hear me, Miss Londa? Uh-oh, she disappeared.
She unmuted.
Oh.
But no, it's like I said, man, it's tough. Like when it's like you gotta take everything away from your kids. Like she said, we gotta figure out some type of homeschooling. We definitely just gotta figure some things
You
out.
definitely got to set yourself apart. I don't care what everybody doing. I don't do what everybody do. I make my own lane anyway. I always have. I don't care if that's what everybody doing, and they do it. I don't care. I don't give a damn. I'm not doing it.
Oh, how old is this?
No, it was one younger than that. Look at him. His daddy, his mama got him doing that probably. Because unfortunately, I know sisters in my family, my sisters, they smoke weed with their kids. That don't mean nothing. I seen one younger than that. They put the mom in jail though. She was giving it to him doing that.
Now I will say this on the kids smoking weed. I have I probably have gave my kids some bad information on it because
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
A dog chain.
I definitely gave my kids some bad information because I told them that I would rather them come home and smoke than to smoke with somebody else. If it's that bad to where you feel like you need to smoke, then I'll put you in a position to where you can smoke. Because living here in Arizona, I have definitely seen some children 13, 14 years old who are on meth, or on powder. Bad. Yeah.
Wow.
And for me, it's like, damn, if you're gonna do it, man, just do it to where I can see you. You know what I'm saying? If it's that bad, like, because if I'm taking it away from you and you still gonna go somewhere else and do it, even if you go to school and you want to skip school, like even after I drop you off at school, that don't mean you're gonna stay in the class. You could just run out the back door once I drop you off. So it's like the situations now, like we looking at these kids smoking, we looking at these kids saying fuck nigga free, we looking at this shit, and it's like at this point, it's like, We just got to give them right and wrong. Like, bro, it's not cool for you to be smoking. This shit will do this to your brain. This shit will do that to your brain. This shit will do this to your life. This will do that to your life. But at the end of the day, if it's that serious to where you just cannot help it, just come home. Just come home and I'll show you what to do, man. Because the last thing I want you down here doing is some fucking coke and all that other shit. Now, we're going to definitely try and find you some rehab and some shit around you. But for the most part, these kids got their own brains, man. Especially today. I mean, you could try and beat them and they could just call somebody to come and get them. You could try and take everything away from them and they could just find somebody to give it to them. So at this point,
a lot of these kids like that, these white kids, they'll tell you their mama got high with them and did it with them.
Man, listen.
They learn how to screw dogs and all kind of stuff.
I ain't gonna go there with you. It's crazy out there, man.
Not the dogs, no.
Not the dogs. Yes, the dogs, Miss Londa.
Long as you got a roof over your head, shoes on your feet, clothes on your back, and food to eat, you good. That's what these kids should be being taught, and not that it has to be a name brand. It's okay to buy the name brand, but they should be taught that they don't have to have that.
That's right.
And that's a fact.
My kids wanted name brands till I started giving them allowance to buy their own stuff, and guess what they did? They bought the cheapest thing, and it wasn't no name brand.
Yeah, because they was looking at that money. They didn't want to be all the way broke, so they started learning how to budget.
Right.
It's wild out here, y'all, man. It's wild out here. Like I said, we could try and teach our kids and give them all the knowledge. They still gonna go out here and do what they feel they want to do eventually.
I think if you want to, the best life scenario is to hopefully create an environment where your kids can study. Hopefully, I know it ain't a perfect world, but get that skill down, and so they can get out there and get their life on, the right way. And that's the problem. We're not set up correctly in our community, and that's why we so dysfunctional.
Keep them busy in the summer. Keep them in programs. You got to keep them busy.
Got to keep
because
them busy.
If you don't, guess what?
They're gonna get into some trouble.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. But shit, even then, like, I ain't trying to make no excuses, but man, it'd be some terrible ones in them programs too.
Not where my kids was at.
I think it depends on where the program is located.
Right.
Yeah. Hopefully you can get them there.
You just can't be around. Poor people make poor choices and have poor habits. That's just what it is. And when it comes to us poor folks, you just make poor choices. Poor choices.
You ain't got no choice. Listen, you ain't got no choice for real. If I'm poor.
Well, you got a choice. There's always a choice. It's always a choice. But
but what's the choice? How do I give my kid if Akron U is the best school for my kid to go to that I can afford? How do I get him in Harvard? That's the point I'm making. Like
Harvard, they got what you talking about? They got 10,000 slaves in their damn museum.
No.
You can have your teenager go to Harvard online.
I'm just saying. I'm on the outside of the box here. I'm just saying in general, anything. How do I get them in a better program?
That means you got to set yourself up. You got to make sure you're in a position, first of all, to be able to put them.
Right. That's the point I'm trying to. But we poor, so we ain't in that position.
Oh, you claiming the poor? I didn't know you
claiming
was
claiming the poor. I'm not rich though. Listen.
I thought you was outside of that.
Hell no! Listen, I can claim rich and not be rich. I can try and put the energy out there. And hopefully it.
No, brother. You need a skill and some businesses.
Hey, listen. If you want to go into the Bible days, you only need what 3 pair of clothes.
Well, what you do for a living?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, at this time, I'm a truck driver now. But
you on top. You making $100K a year.
Still not enough.
But let me tell you what people used to do. Like, I know a lot of people who grew up in the hood, like in the projects. The families whose kids made it out, they took them to a different park. They didn't let them play around the house. They took them to parks. They kept them in programs. Being poor didn't used to be synonymous with being immersed in dysfunction. They took them places. They always kept they were engaged with their kids. They just didn't leave them, to their own devices. So they had a program, and so they got out, and they're professionals. I know a lot of people who grew up in the hood, in the projects, who
Yeah, you got to be separate. You got to
yeah.
separate yourself from amongst them. Even Bible, God tell you that.
Yeah, I mean that's why I moved to Arizona. From everything I know, that's why I live in Phoenix,
Well,
Arizona.
you better than most. Your kids are doing good, are doing better than most, and you're a truck driver.
Yeah, but that's recent. So I ain't always been a
Well, you
truck
got
driver.
some catching up to do, but it ain't gonna take long. You there. You already there.
Yeah, work
Yeah.
on getting your next truck. Hire
There
a
you go.
driver. Keep getting your new truck.
Yeah, that's my goal, man. My goal is to if I can get enough trucks, man, I can my kids at least have something to fall back on. If anything, they can just come drive trucks for me. I can have my daughter set up in the offices where they can be their own boss in my office or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's my goal as far as my children go. But again, I still got to keep them level headed. Like they can look at me and be like, "Oh, it's cool being a truck driver."
Well, what
That
the
don't mean
wife
that's
doing? What the mama doing? Because it's the
you know,
mama too.
You know,
the mother, well, and that's cool. I ain't got no problem with that. The mom actually is the one is has been holding a lot of things down, man. The mom is
Well, there you go. She sound like them kids sound like they good. They sound good to me.
they
But
are, but
but
see, they
Jesus,
my kids don't understand gratefulness. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand the struggle that me and the mother had to go through to get to where we at. You see what I'm
No
if
saying?
they
So
don't
kids, no
understand,
kids
it
do.
sound
They
like
don't
you being a good
appreciate that till
parent.
they get grown. No kids are appreciative like that till they get grown.
and so therefore the struggle of trying to keep them, I got to go in here and turn this song off, turn this off. No, you can't watch this. No, you can't watch that. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm trying like, where the hell is y'all getting this from? But it because it damn sure ain't us. You see what I'm saying? But then I'm hearing like for instance, my daughter just was singing the song. I can't remember what the name of the song is, but I had walked in the room and it was like something, I'm that bitch, or something. And I'm like, why the hell is you singing this song? Like I had to cut it off, right? So
You
then I
can put parental control on YouTube. You can put parental control on
yeah,
everything in your house, on your phone, everything. It's called
correct.
parental control.
But it's not the fact that she even had to go looking for it. It's the fact that she found it from listening to it with her friends.
She
So
was
then
listening to Throat Baby. They was listening to Throat Baby.
I don't think that's not that song. I ain't never heard her listen to that one, but I know it was some song talking about she
No,
was
you didn't hear that, and you don't know because it's got a cool tune. But in the lineup,
no,
after
I know
Throat
the
Baby
song.
come
I know
Fuck
the Throw
Baby.
Baby
Wait
song.
a minute, it come Throat Baby, Fuck Baby, Dookie Baby, and it go down on from there.
Listen, I could take all the songs away from her, and she still got her little friends that she gonna listen to, and they gonna come at her with a song that they like or whatever. And I had to sit down and
Look, you
ask her
can
when
only control your kids. You can't control everybody kids what they
that's
do.
the point
Long
I'm
as
trying
yours
to
do
make.
what
So,
you
so
say.
listen,
I don't think
I'm
he's
sitting
saying
here
he's trying to
talking about
control nobody else's kid. He's just saying when they go around other people's kids, they still gonna
I
have access.
understand, but long as yours doing what you tell them to do,
then
regardless of what they do.
that's not gonna because if that's the case, then she would tell her friend she don't want to hear it. You see what I'm saying? So that's the point I'm trying to make. So when I had to sit here and actually have a conversation with my daughter, like you sitting here talking about you that bitch. This is a song. This is what the song's saying. After I had to cut it off, I'm like, so you really feel like you that bitch? That's why you playing that song? She like, yeah, I do. I'm like, hold on. So I can call you a bitch then? She like, no, you can't.
No, no, no. The
I'm like,
friend.
I'm like,
Remember, we
I'm like, she
gotta
like,
eliminate certain people that do certain things that we don't do, right?
but still and so I don't even want you to feel like you should call yourself a bitch. And if you feel like you should be calling yourself a bitch, then how you gonna feel about it when the public call you a bitch?
Well,
I,
as a
I,
father, I want to know, did you talk to her about choosing good friends then?
yeah, man. Listen, I already told my
Well,
kids, man,
why is
you
she
can't
her
have no friends
friend?
because that's what kids do. That's what they want. That's just what they
That's
want.
why
You
you
just
got to get her away from certain, like, that's
Yeah,
what
that
I'm
don't
saying.
sound like
Make
a good
friends
friend.
with the people
listen.
of
I
like
didn't.
parents.
I could sit here and tell y'all stories. I won't throw my kids under the bus. I'm sure none of us will. But at the end of the day, man, there are some things that I've been like, why would y'all freaking do this? Like, that is your brother, that's your sister. Why would you say this? Why would you say that? At the end of the day, these kids be wanting something to talk to with these other kids so they can feel like they are a part of the crowd. It is hard for me. I know I done seen some kids, and I ask my kids all the time. Like, I know it's kids that go to y'all school who don't chill or be around nobody. Like, yeah, they don't. I'm like, so why y'all can't be like that? Like, why y'all don't just go to school and learn and then come back home and be friends with each other? Like, I don't know. Like, well, that's what y'all should do. Like,
Well, they supposed to do that because my mom told me when certain people wasn't right, and it wasn't long before I saw it, and I pretty much eliminated that. But look, the Facebook user who said about wealthy, what was that? They said you can't claim the poor. I am wealthy. Well, don't forget, Jesus came for the poor.
Listen,
And most of us on this earth is poor unless you're an oligarch.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to walk around telling people I'm poor or I'm broke. That's not what I want to do. But at the same time, though, I don't want to bring that bad energy by keep on saying that I'm poor, because then I'm going to be poor. So I definitely don't want to say that.
No, you're not poor because you don't talk poor and you're not thinking poor. So no, I said
Listen,
poor people think poor, they do poor, and they choose poor is what I said. Not I'm poor. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm damn sure ain't poor either.
but I damn sure ain't wealthy.
Well, hey, I ain't claiming that. I ain't claiming poor, but I know it's poor people.
and my thing is, if you lose it all today, where would you be? And that's what I'm looking at in our situation. If I lose my job or she lose her job, we are at square one. We are not good. That's what I'm saying.
You worry too much. What is you, a Virgo?
No, I'm a Cap.
Oh, okay.
Cap,
You a
yeah.
money
Wait,
dog.
say
What you
you are
worrying
again.
for?
What are you?
I'm a Capricorn.
Oh, okay.
But you a money dog. Your money come to you anyway. What you tripping off of?
Cause it's not even about the money. It's about the situation.
You
And
keep talking about your job, and if you lose your job, that's you. You the one keep talking about it.
no, I'm looking at where are we going to be if that happens.
But that's
Are
the
we
plan
straight?
you and your wife got to make together, not us. You ain't gonna solve that in a session on sip and talk.
But that still affects my children though. Again, like, even if me and her gonna be straight and my kids go around the kids that are not straight, they are still
You gotta give your kids the room to grow up and be who they gonna be. You did your best. That's not your claim right there. That ain't your life. You gave them life, but it's their own life. They still gotta be who they are gonna be.
Hey, they say it's fall off on me though.
Who is they? Who said it?
So
And we
what you
keep on
gotta
talking about the
do?
Bible.
What you gotta do? How were you when you were growing up? And because I bet you one of those kids is just like you. Strategize using
They
who you
sound like
used
they
to be.
both just like him.
Hell yeah, and I do not like it.
So you
I'm
have
like,
to
why are
use
you thinking like this?
strategy.
You too young to be thinking like this.
No, they got your traits. So you got to use what you know about yourself and strategize against them
It
for
sounds like
their
they
own
want the
good.
good things in life, so they gonna grow up and get a job, just like their daddy did, and their mama did, so they can get it.
So some of the traits that they get from me is not letting anybody interrupt what they trying to do.
So you got to
So
strategize because you know yourself, right?
yeah, I do, but that
And you
includes
knew
me
who
as
you
well though. So
used to
they
be.
do. So if they gonna be like me and they don't let nobody interrupt, they not even gonna try and let me interrupt. If I say you can't do,
That's
they gonna be
okay,
like,
but you
no,
can
I'm gonna
manipulate.
do this.
You can conform and help bend based on what you already know their traits are.
True.
Well, I had the fear of God in me, so I was scared. I was a little chicken shit, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't like getting in trouble.
I mean, I wasn't scared once I left the
Right.
house.
Right. If you had your father in your house, ain't you gonna supposed to have the fear of God in you though? What a fear. They ain't got no fear.
They do, but they see. I teach God differently than everybody else. I teach God totally different. I teach God totally different, man. Like I
What
definitely
do
tell
they
them.
only hear it from the father? Do they go to other places in here? You know, is there other
Yeah,
places
my kids
besides
think
you?
it's Jesus that they do the whole Jesus thing, and I try and teach them that God is the one. You know what I'm saying? Who was in
I'm
control
talking
of
about
everything.
as you part of that them cults, that Jehovah Witness and all that type of stuff.
No. I was a Christian. I was a full Christian. Like I'm
Okay,
a
because
whole.
they call themselves Christian too, though.
Yeah, but I wasn't the Jehovah's Witness. I'm more of a Yah dude. I'm more of the Yah type. I'm more of
Oh,
a
okay.
Yahweh. Yeah, so I'm straight out the Old Testament. Like, that's where I go through. Like
Well, you
I rock
good.
with Jesus.
They got what they need. They got the seed. They good.
Yeah, I rock with Jesus, but I just feel like Jesus is a scapegoat. So I tell him that's a scapegoat. That's
Well,
the
don't
person.
teach them to go to church and pray and vote Democrat. That's for sure. That don't work.
Right. I always say, man, God opens doors, but you gotta walk through them, man. And if he ain't gonna open the doors if you ain't doing right, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I be trying to put into my kids' head. Like, y'all gotta live right. Like, you know what I'm saying? If this stuff is wrong and you know it's wrong, why are you going to do it? That's what I was speaking on earlier. Like, I try not to, you know what I'm saying, tell them don't do this or don't do that. I try and tell them to think about this. What's the outcome? If you do this, what is the outcome? If you do that, what's gonna happen? Okay, here goes some good things. Like when you go back to the sex situation, it feels good, it feels great, but what are the outcomes? Think about the outcomes. So instead of you worrying about sex, knowing that it's going to come, just understand, no pun intended, just understand that that's going to happen futurely. Don't worry about it now because the outcomes you may not be ready for it. This, that, and the other can happen when you're trying to have sex just because you think sex is good, or this, that, and the other can happen when you're just trying to smoke weed because you think weed is good. You know,
No, forget all that. If I was you, I'll put that dictionary in their face and make them spell them words and learn them words and their terminology and put them books in they every time they see you or you see them, they supposed to be studying. They ain't got time for
I
all
ain't
these
gonna lie
things.
to you, Miss Nina. That's out of everything that I heard somebody tell me. That's one thing ain't nobody told me, and I should have probably been on that, but I have never did that, and I'm definitely that's gonna be something I do. I have never
Yeah,
done it.
focus on that schoolwork. Get that math going on because that algebra, shoot, that take 3 hours by itself. That reading, that's 2 hours. That spelling, that's another hour. Make them spelling
I'm
words.
gonna need 3 words out the
Some
dictionary
money.
today.
You giving them some money. Get them grades up. Get that spelling down. Pick some words out that dictionary. Make them tell you the word, spell it, and what the definition is. That's what
Yeah,
time it is.
that's what time it is for real. I definitely rack with that. I like that.
You
I
guys,
try
it
all kinds of
is
things.
11:56.
All
Oh,
We've
damn,
been
right.
on here for some hours. But it was a good conversation, though. I thank you guys for joining in. And those of
no
you in the
problem.
comments, I thank you for jumping in the comments and tuning in. Till next time, you guys all have a good night.
Good
Thank y'all.
night.
Have a good
Bye.
one.